welcome to Nerds and Such Consultation Office. My name is Drew Philip Elias. This is Mr. Aldo Mendez.
I'm Aldo Mendez, yes.
This is Between Nerds Podcast. Welcome. Today, we are recording on September 19th. You're probably listening to this on the 21st, 22nd, give or take.
Yes.
A couple hours. At the beginning of this episode, we do want to go over some housekeeping notes. Is this 110?
This is 110, episode 110.
This is episode 110 of Between Nerds Podcast. So what we're going to ask you all is to please enter our September giveaway by leaving a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts or leaving a positive review on Spotify. We are recently back on Pandora. And then, if you give us a thumbs up on there and you email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com letting us know that positive review was you, because, most of these podcast platforms, we can't actually verify who's leaving said review, and we do want to reward the people that are rewarding us.
I'll just show a name or a username, but
go a bunch of numbers and letters. I don't know what the fuck that means. Or you can enter our September giveaway by
commenting on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you said that, right?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
No, commenting on YouTube and just liking and subscribing. Make sure you tweak your privacy settings so we can see that you are subscribed to the channel. Right.
If you're a subscriber during the month of September and you leave a comment on a video during the month of September, it can even be the clips, the YouTube Shorts, I think is what they're calling them.
Never been on it.
Me neither. I didn't even know it was a thing. But we have.
I knew it was a thing, but yeah, it's like.
TikTok's making so much money, everyone needs to get on it.
Yeah, it's they've
ruined Instagram to make reels. Anyways, what am I talking about? So then, to Aldo's point, if your subscriptions are made public and we can verify you're a subscriber, then same thing. Then you'll be entered into our September giveaway and we'll get you some free stuff.
But we'll use it, YouTube. Yeah. We're we don't have to use it.
Yeah. Well, we use it, but
we post shit on it. I've never been on it. I've never been did you check out that?
Did you see that short I sent you, bro?
Yeah.
Did you see that reel I sent you?
Nobody says that.
No, it says that. Don't fucking say that. Everyone's just I saw that on TikTok.
But about things on TikTok, please follow us on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook as well.
Yeah. Twitter.
On Twitter, Between Nerds. Email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com for any comments, any concerns. You want to stay anonymous? The Nerd Down again. We're gonna read your comments. Yeah. What'd you say about it? We want to see hot takes on the animes that we're talking about week to week.
Yeah, we've got we have our hot takes, and we look forward to hearing your rebuttal.
Yes. And right now we're just reading all the comments. Later on, we're just gonna pick probably the top 5 or top 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
So ain't nobody got time to be reading out.
Constructive criticism, all that. I think we've always tried to make sure that this podcast comes off as a community thing. Mm-hmm. So
get a drink and watch Mob Psycho 100
Season 2.
We watched Season 1, dude. I don't even remember Season 1.
When did we watch it?
God, I was when did we meet the Claw?
I want to say it was 70 something because
damn.
The main villain. The ending storyline to Season 1 was that Mob thinks that his brother is kidnapped by an organization called Claw. And Mob goes crazy psychic and busts in the building and beats the shit out of an entire government organization, agency, Splinter Cell. And just to get his brother, but his brother willingly left because he wanted to be an evil psychic because he was tired of living in his older brother's shadow.
It's always an organization, huh? An anime Taxi, Perfect Blue, or stuff like that. It's always an organization.
Well, yeah, it is Mob Psycho 100. The manga was written by one. And one, we talked about a different manga of his 2 weeks ago when we talked about One Punch Man. And we had never we've kind of done it ass backwards because we should have done maybe One Punch Man first and then maybe hit Mob Psycho 100 season 1 and 2, but I don't know, we split it up. But you see a lot of that evil organization stuff in One Punch Man 2, but One Punch Man's a joke. It's a gag all the time. It's a shonen. But I'd argue it's more of a gag manga than an actual shonen.
No, dude, and goddamn, Mob Psycho carries a well put together Hunter x Hunter style dynamic with characters.
Oh yeah, man,
it's wild because Was Dimples the perverted ghost in season 1?
Dimple was the leader of the cult that Mob accidentally
True.
destroyed.
True.
He was like a smiling cult or something.
Anyways, shout out to him, bro. He's like the best like supporting character in this whole anime.
Well, I think early on in season 2, it's really cool because like in the first handful of episodes, he's still like. Reagan's still kind of like, dude, I don't trust you. Like, are you really helping Mob? Are you like, I'm not going to leave you alone with his body, like, kind of things. But like all of season 1, the minute they recruit Dimple in like episode like 4 of season 1, he's like a sidekick, but he's always like underhanded with it. Like he like if you give him an inch, he's gonna take it all. Like
it's like the Slimer character in Ghostbusters.
Can I confess something?
What's up?
I've never seen Ghostbusters.
Whatever. I'm not gonna.
I feel like I know the plot because
crucify you
like
for it.
because like 80s movie, you know what I mean? And like you can't have participated in any early 2000s media without getting reference to 80s movies. Like I'm thinking like Robot Chicken, Family Guy, Simpsons, South Park. Like they're all making fun of like 80s pop culture.
Yeah. Whenever I bump into someone that tells me something like you told me, like, oh, I haven't seen like this pop culture thing that a lot of people talk about and you
But
know,
I know about
break apart. Yeah, you know about it, but like people that are like, oh, you haven't watched it, you gotta watch it. Like a lot of the things made in that time, it was like you had to be there kind of moment. There's a lot of people that you try to show like the Star Wars, like the old Star Wars, they're like, it's like I know, but
it's like you can't show somebody Revenge of the Nerds anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, for a plethora of reasons.
Oh yeah.
Like
it gets very assaulty.
There's a literal rape scene in Revenge of the Nerds. What am I talking about? Anyways, so like just recapping our audience really quickly. Like Mob Psycho 100 is a story about a middle school Esper, a psychic, so to speak, right? But like it has that One Punch Man effect where he's like the world's most powerful psychic. But to juxtapose him to Saitama, Mob kind of doesn't want to be the world's most powerful psychic. Saitama's like the strongest on accident, and he kind of hates it because he wants to be a hero for fun, but he can't have fun because he finishes every fight in one punch. Mob like doesn't want to hurt anybody. He's a huge pacifist,
and I feel also that has to do with his like introvert attitude because he's like, this is only bringing attention to the person that I'm trying to be. Because towards the end of Mob Psycho season 2, you're like, wow, there was like a story development and like little hints of character development just sprinkle along the season,
right? Which I never got in One Punch Man season 2.
No, exactly. Yeah, you don't get that in One Punch, but like just Mob being so introverted and socially awkward, and at the end of this season you find out that it's like the friends that we met along the way, you know. And they try to sprinkle a couple of like Demon Slayer too. We got Tanjiro at some points.
We got to hear the demon's backstory before we kill him.
But goddamn, like I said, I was talking about Dimples.
Yeah, Dimple.
Dimple's possessions are fucking dope, dude.
Yeah,
are always the right move to do.
Yeah.
It's always the least expected when you see the body bettering club.
Oh, the body improvement club.
Body improvement club gets in the alley, and then the captain gets possessed by this.
Oh
dude.
yeah, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
I love the like season structure for Mob Psycho 100 season 2 because it feels longer than it actually is. Like it's 14 episodes, which like the actual season's only 13 episodes, but there's an OVA that came out like 6 months after like Mob Psycho season 2 came out. And like it's like directed or it's storyboarded in like mini like 3 episode like subplots. You know what I mean? So like we'll get first 3 episodes kind of like reintroducing us to like the Mob Psycho
world.
And I remember being upset while watching it almost. I'm like, I only have like 13, 14 episodes. Why are you wasting a quarter of your runtime reintroducing me to just like Reagan shenanigans?
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why. I already mentioned it again. Have you seen the interview with Patrick Harris in the Hot Ones?
No.
No, there's a very good question about like what he hates about TV, and I guess as a content creator, you think about these things, I guess.
Okay.
But he said that you hate when a show tries to remind, like, you're engaged. He's like, and as an audience, I'm engaged, but then you keep trying to get me in like more. Like when they show you previews to the next episode and stuff like that,
Right?
Or like stuff like that. Like I don't need that.
Okay.
You know, like just put me in the story. I'm already in the story. Don't keep me.
I can understand that when like binging something like we were this week. I'm like, God, like maybe week to week. Well, but week to week you'd probably be more upset, right? Because like you'd want like a new big episode, and the first like chunk of Mob Psycho 100 season 2, you're not really getting that.
But like you said, this is not just a recap you see at the end of the episode. I think what you're talking about is that the first 3 episodes felt like a huge recap.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So I can't even remember. It's just like reintroducing us to the Body Improvement Club, reintroducing us to like
the Friends of the Psychic Club, which is also the Body Improvement Club.
Right,
Yeah,
like the Esper Hunter Club or whatever the fuck they were called, which is like some like Haruhi like knockoff, like Haruhi.
Yeah.
And
we got bugs.
And but then like episode 2 is about like them fucking around with some high school kids that hire Reagan, and like in like but like it starts to make sense like the end of episode 2, the beginning of episode 3, because like we finally get like the big episode I'm waiting for. It's episode 3 or episode 4 where
Might be 4.
where there's like 100, well, dozens of like psychics that get hired to this one possession at this like really rich guy's place, right? And they're all dicking around. Like Reagan assumes everybody's like a fake psychic and is like doing it as a scam because that's what he does.
Yeah, the world revolves around Reagan at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always so like, this one can't be real when he's not even real.
Have you seen like they've been doing a lot of like favorite anime character like polls on Twitter and stuff, like really like prominent like anime Twitters, but they keep like they keep doing categories and letting the audience like decide who's gonna be in that category. So Reagan keeps winning categories that he's not a part of. It's like favorite anime twink, Reagan. Favorite anime lesbian, Reagan. Favorite, like, you get what I mean? Like, stuff like that. And you're just like, Reagan's none of these? Like, what is going on? But, like, that's such a meme of Reagan as a character that he just keeps stumbling upwards.
Yes, he does stumble upwards. Like, he has he doesn't have the best, like, intentions.
Never.
But he ends up being at the right moment. And
like, I guess his only good quality is he's driven. Like, he reminds me of Saitama in that way. Like, he's got a goal in mind.
Hey.
He buckles down. He gets his shit straight when he needs to.
Dude, the whole Reagan arc, dude,
and that's crazy.
wild.
Like to that point, like season 1, you felt like it's dumb fun. You have like kind of some character growth, but you kind of don't. Like, the characters start and finish like in the same place a little bit.
And to put it a little bit into context, like, as we were talking about, like, some of the first few episodes, by the time we get to this plot line, it's already more like towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
But Mob, what's his actual name?
Jesus, I just had it. Shigeo Kageyama.
Kageyama, yeah, Mr. Kageyama. Like, we already know by this point that there's been some, like, emotional, successful, like, milestone that he has had before. You know what I'm saying? Because, again,
you start hearing that halfway through the season from Dimple, from Reagan, from everywhere. They're just like, holy shit, he's learning things. Like,
yeah.
like he's maturing. Is this the same guy?
And then there's a point, where we have a flashback of Reagan meeting Kageyama, and he's a little ass kid.
Yeah.
That's wild.
He was like a 5th grader.
Yeah.
He was like a 5th or 6th grader. It was before, like, he even joined middle school.
Yeah, and just, like, again, having this kind of style, like, this scumbag, like, almost, like, taking, like, advantage of this kid. It really shows in one of the episodes where Mob is like, hey, fuck you, dude. Like, I'm trying to sing karaoke with my friends.
Yeah, because, even, so the Studio Bones. Like, Studio Bones is one of the most successful anime studios ever. This is, like, Full Metal Alchemist. This is Space Dandy. This is My Hero Academia. This is, like, God, I don't even know. It's, Orin High School Host Club, Soul Eater, Eureka 7, Angelic Lair. Like, it's just hitters, you know what I mean? So, like, I brought this up maybe 2-3 weeks ago in an unrelated discussion when we were just talking about how scummy, like, the anime industry is as a whole, that Studio Bones with the production for Mob Psycho 100 season 3 is the only time ever I've seen like actual news stories coming from not the directors, not the developers, not the producers, but the actual animators. They're doing interviews saying how great like the working environment is to producing season 3 of Mob Psycho 100. And then the director, maybe like 3-4 weeks ago already, went on record saying that season 3 is going to be all 2D hand-drawn animation. Like, no CGI, none of that. And like, there's, like, excellent use of CGI in Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. Because, like, the way they show the psychic powers, it's like a bunch of shapes and polygons.
It's like a stained glass. Like a stained glass
It's like looking inside of
aura.
a kaleidoscope?
Yes, exactly
is that what I'm thinking of?
That's exactly what it is. And everybody has its own kind of aura look.
Love that. Everyone's got their
awesome.
own kaleidoscope psychic colors.
Yeah. Oh, whose power is that flying over there? Oh, that's that dude's, because it's like the same kind of aura.
But then Mob's is like this brilliant, like pink and
Multicolor,
blues and
full
whites.
spectrum kind of thing.
In like these really sharp shapes and polygons. And then you see other characters that like it's a lot more wavy, or it looks
Some are staticky.
Yeah. But like you can just tell Mob's broken. Like just by looking at his psychic power, you're just like, that's the guy. That's the one. And the big first Sakuga fight we get is but before I get to that fallout between Reagan and Mob is there's this possession of a girl that's Mob's age, so like a 7th grader, 8th grader, something like that, where she's possessed by the evil spirit of the world's most powerful psychic that died 30 years ago. So he was essentially Mob 30 years ago, but evil. So like his mom, he was a natural psychic. He wasn't a fake psychic like Reagan or something like that, but he was a real psychic. And his mom got sick with cancer.
Keiji Mogami?
Yes, Mogami.
Yeah.
And his mom got sick, and he was desperate for the money for her treatments, which, like, I thought Japan had socialized healthcare. I don't understand. But anyway, she got sick. They needed money, so he just started taking any job, started working for the mob, started, like, killing people with his psychic powers. And like, his mom kind of died anyways, and at that point, he was just so in it with, like, the mob and being extorted that he kind of, like, did a big revenge tour to like kill everybody that had wronged him, and he felt like had wronged his mom in a roundabout way because they didn't give him his money soon enough and he couldn't save her. So then like, and then he offs himself because he has an actual plan, being like, it's like, it reminded me of Demon Slayer because in Demon Slayer the upper moons, I can't remember what they're called in Japanese, but like the 6 most powerful demons in Demon Slayer all kind of have the same motivation on why they became a demon. They kind of like capped out on how strong they could be as a human. So they're like, I guess I just got to become an inhuman monster at this point.
Yeah, some demon steroids.
Right. Yeah, so yeah. So it's like, okay, Lord Muzan, I'll totally take your demon blood, and then I can be even stronger as a demon. So, and that's what he did, because he's just like, if I'm the world's most powerful psychic, and I'm basically tapped out on my psychic potential, if I kill myself and I stay in the living world as an evil spirit, then I can like become stronger as an evil spirit.
But then the way he was killing himself, like the way he killed himself, was by being so powerful, being a super powerful psychic and absorbing these demons a la fucking Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And he just started to be poisoned, and then he just died, and because of all those fucking spirits that were within his spirit. As it goes, crazy fucking shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like we really get like an Exorcist episode, like The Exorcist, like the movie The Exorcist. It's in like 2-3 episodes of this, because Mob has to like go into this little girl's mind to fight him. Yeah. I almost called him Muzan. What's his name?
Mogami.
Mogami. Fight Mogami, and
the anime could have finished right there.
Yeah,
the anime could have fucking finished right there, because. Before we get to that fight, I just wanted to the recent animation that followed between him and Mob, between Reagan and Mob, was just to put in context of like how much like Mob has matured, and learned, and not being, and learned to be more socially stable.
He's learning how to stand up for himself. He's learning what his real priorities are.
And like here, like you said, they hire a punch ton of like makeshift psychics and real psychics. Apparently this fucking old guy is like a super sidekick.
Yeah.
And
well, we went most of season 1 not knowing if there were real psychics, and it wasn't until like later on when Claw's introduced, and we're like, oh, okay, there's really other psychics besides Mob in this world.
Fuck. And then that brings me back to the episode when they meet the guy that was flashing to little kids in the park.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It gets weird, and
It's
then they
super
have
creepy.
they have a Street Fighter animated episode, like for like a couple of seconds, not a whole episode, but like it's like a little animation. Like they're going weird at the beginning too. Crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like it's clear that they left a lot of one's like artistic freedoms in the anime, and that's why I'm so glad that Bones is doing it, because like it's clear that they love it, that they really feel something for this production.
It's directed very well, because I'm thinking right now that all this like change on art style, and by the way, the art and character design, I don't know if you guys follow on Twitter, but I was like, this is so ugly, it's so great for itself.
Yeah.
You know, there's no other way this could be besides this way.
No, yeah, I agree.
And there's a moment when they're dealing with that with that pervert with the red overcoat,
With the trench coat.
with a trench coat, that they talk about Mob is expressing his feelings about a girl that he liked, that
Yeah.
he likes, and then somebody mentions that the girl was so weird that even playing hide and seek, she used to just dip whenever she had to seek.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's funny, dude, because there was a kid like that in my neighborhood, bro. Like, growing up in Juarez, we used to play hide and seek, and he would just leave.
During hide and seek.
Yeah, during hide and seek, bro. Crazy,
What is
crazy
her
stuff.
name? I'm trying to find her name. Like you're
the
talking
pink-
about
pink-
Mob's
yeah.
crush.
Yeah, Mob's crush, which I think it's important to the development of Mob.
That like even his brother, even Mob's brother, who was like really prominent in season 1, is a little bit in season 2. But when he finds out that Mob likes her name is Tsubomi.
Tsubomi.
When Mob finds out when Mob's brother finds out that Mob likes Tsubomi, he's just like, I hated Tsubomi. She would always like leave us during hide and seek.
Yeah, dude. I remember there was a kid like that growing up in Juarez, bro. Like, he would just leave, and then we'd be like, what the hell? And just like, oh, he just left. And every single time that he had to seek, he would just leave. Crazy stuff. But anyways, yeah, a lot of that development that goes into that moment when we're with like all the different psychics.
Oh yeah.
There's a super billionaire who hires all these people because there's nothing they can do for little Tammy or whatever her name is.
Oh god, what is her name? She ends up being kind of important too, because like
Amy?
Minori Asagiri.
Pink hair girl. Yeah. And then she we got Drew's book club coming out. Follow us on Twitter,
What about Miss Minori?
Miss Minori. And about her dad hires all these bunch of characters who then she the demon inside her, who is Mogami.
Yes.
Mogami senses the psycho Mob is there. The psycho's there. The Mob is there, and he actually wakes up and tries to hurt all these people, and everybody gets fucked up.
Right, because well, Reagan's the first one. Reagan wins a tournament of rock paper scissors to figure out who's going to be the first one to approach her. And she's like passed out and behind like a soundproof glass like window, and like so Reagan goes in there, and like Mob doesn't sense any psychic pressure at first, so he's just like, okay, whatever, this might be fake. So Reagan thinks it's fake, and he goes in there, but then immediately the little girl like starts calling him a psychic and starts calling him Reagan and like all this other stuff before he introduces himself as that. So that's when Reagan's just like, aha,
True.
You are actually fucking possessed, you creepy piece of shit, get out of that little girl. Ha, I got you. And like her being possessed fucks up everybody. Like, she's sending people through walls, through concrete pillars.
Stabs her dad.
She stabs her dad in the chest
with her hand.
With her hand, and all he's doing is crying and like begging for his daughter to stop fucking murking people.
And this scenes you're talking about, because we are following like not only a psychic, because psychic doesn't give you that much of context to what Mob Psycho is about, but it would be like a better title would be like Mob Exorcist, because we're dealing with demons all the time.
Oh yeah.
And like these horror scenes are our director, like you said, like the like if you're watching The Exorcist,
Yeah.
and it's amazing because there's gore and there's good gore.
There's great gore, and it's not. It's like tactful gore. Like it doesn't.
Tactful gore.
It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like TVMA. This is like some TV-14 shit. But
not
it's
like a
like,
slasher.
but it's really like when this dude gets punctured through the chest by his fucking daughter. Like it's really like. Are you serious? Like we just watched 2 stupid ass episodes of Reagan just dicking around in the woods.
Not only that, but how Demon Slayer and Tanjiro describes the smell of a demon. Here it's animated that way. They don't tell you that they smell, but they look like, you know, like they're all like she becomes all like thin and stuff and all gray and has all this
Sunken
lesions.
cheeks and
Yeah, it's wild how they look.
like leprosy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so like you were saying, Mob realizes that he's like, dude, I can't beat him this way because I'm gonna fuck that little girl's body up, and he's like, I need to get him from within, you know. And that's when he tells Dimples, and Dimples at this time, he almost seems like an enemy still. Because they're like, no, you can't trust your body to Dimples. He's just gonna do whatever he wants, like he always does, or whatever.
I'm going down this Reddit thread on like why like Shigeo is called Mob, and that has something to do with the kanji in Japanese, but it's also like basically like Shigeo's kanji is almost written like the kanji for Mob, which essentially means like background character, like nameless John Doe-esque character. So, like, him being called Mob Psycho, like, nameless John Doe loser, Psycho, he's a psychic, and then 100 because, like, the gimmick with his power system is that, like, as opposed to Saitama, who's always at 100% all the time, Mob, his psychic potential is based on, like, how many emotions he's feeling.
Like, he's like a houseplant.
Yeah, well, like... He'll like certain like the start of certain arcs or certain episodes will say like anxiety 40%, and then he gets more anxious, and then he hits 100%, and then he goes fucking berserk mode.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's kind of like fear or loathing that I think he's
Rage,
starting.
yeah.
It might be rage. It's one of them.
There's like 3 emotions in this place because there's like anxiety and there's like I can't remember the other one, but you're right. We go through like 3 emotions: rage. For sure.
Well, it's subtle. It's like a title card. And it'll just say rage 20%.
Yes.
And like you forget about it almost. And then like when he's going through the psychic fight with Modara or whatever the fuck his name is, like when he's getting kicked around, like he's kind of like, stop it, stop hurting me, don't hurt Reagan. Like just really softly and like meekly, just like kind of still,
one-noted.
Yeah, still trying to like subtly like.
Stop.
Yeah, trying to convince somebody to stop. And it's not until he actually goes in their mind and we get like a half episode of Mob trapped inside of like an alternate reality inside of this little girl's head.
Haruhi Sumiya style?
Yeah, Haruhi Suzumiya style, exactly, where he's living a reality where he never had psychic powers. And it's very berating because it's like everybody that would be his friend, his brother, Reagan, the Body Improvement Club, like they all treat him like the loser that anybody else would think he is. Like Mob Psycho 100 really embodies this. Oh God, it's a saying, but I always say it wrong. It's like it takes a village, right? Like it takes a village to raise a child, something like that. Like it's about his support system. Like Mob, especially in season 1, like he doesn't want his psychic powers. He wants to get fit, to impress the girl, to like be happy and go on dates and like get some change from his part-time job so that he can pay for said dates, yada yada. Like he wants to do normal middle schooler stuff. He doesn't want to be the world's most powerful psychic and take over the world like Claw does. So us seeing like not only him without his psychic powers but without his support system in this alternate reality is like really fucked up. Like you feel for him, you know what I mean? Like it made me really sad. I was like, and it's mean because it's also the evil spirit it's manipulating it into saying that if Mob didn't have psychic powers, then nobody would give a shit about him. That like the only reason he has the support of his family, his brother, the Body Improvement Club, and Reagan and Dimple is because of his potential as a psychic. Which is not true. Which is not true. Like, the Body Improvement Club doesn't even know he's a fucking psychic. They literally do not know
It's
he's
just
a
the
psychic.
guy that's behind us.
Yeah, he's just that wimp. He's out here running with me every day. He never catches up, but I know he's behind me. Like, that's my boy. Like, he tries his damn best.
I love that animation decision, or like the direction decision of when he's running the marathon to animate like a good 10 seconds, 15
just
seconds.
ugly faces.
Oh, he's just like with a limp leg. Dude, it is there for so long. I laughed. I cackled.
It's like the ugliest faces I've ever seen in like animation. Besides, like, what is it, Big Mouth?
Oh, Mob is crazy. Dude.
It's super ugly, but like on purpose. Like, it's so well done.
Yeah, but like again, yeah, it is. He's even almost like projecting himself. He's like, this is how I was treated.
Yeah,
you know.
He's just like, why should you be happy? This is what it was like living my life. Like, I was nobody until I had my psychic powers.
Mogami, we're talking
about Mogami. But then we reached like a breaking point, because what Mogami has also implanted Minori, the girl being possessed, inside of the dream, inside of the alternate reality. And she's a fucking dickhead. Like, she's a rich girl that actively bullies Mob to like maintain her place and like amongst her peers.
Yeah, pours milk on him.
Pours milk on him. She gets him jumped outside of class for like no reason, just because he's like the quiet loser in the back of the class.
Yeah.
And like, it's not until then that like Mob almost like goes berserk in the dream, and that's what Mogami wanted, being like, see, this is why you need to be evil, this is why you need to use your psychic powers for yourself, because everyone else, to kill these people, because everyone else is a fucking dickhead. So like, you take care of yourself and be the superior being, again, like Demon Slayer. It's that the main
superiority complex.
Yeah. Like, I'm a better species because I'm a demon. I'm a better human being because I'm a psychic and I have psychic powers.
Yes.
And it's not until like, it's like an hour going by in the real world, even though it feels like days and weeks inside of the dream, inside of the alternate reality. And Reagan, well, Reagan is overlooking Mob's body. Is overlooking Minori's body, while Dimple is controlling Mob's like vacated body, since like Mob had to evacuate like his soul, his spirit from his own body and put it into Minori.
Correct. But right before he goes into the girl's what's her name? To the girl's body, Minori. Possessed Mob by Dimples has a little back and forth with the girl.
Well, yeah, with Minori's body. Yeah.
It's good. I don't know why Dimples made such a super psychic to me, but like, not only that, there's moments even before where he has a fake date with some girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he reads the stories that she wrote, and then some bully girls ripped her own friends. No, her own fucking friends. Don't have friends like that. Have friends like Dimples.
Yeah.
And because Dimples is also like, hey, what's wrong with this guy? Like, he has a girlfriend. Like, they're all like perplexed, like you said. They're all like, oh. But he's the only one that is telling, like, it's talking to Mob, which is crazy.
Well, to bring up to just follow up on your whenever Dimple takes over Mob's body, like we shit on Naruto like a lot, right? But like, what Naruto does really well is the few fight scenes that are canon and that are not like overlaced with like a bunch of filler have great like kung fu like symmetry. You know what I mean? Like, they bring in like actual like Hong Kong like kung fu specialists to like direct what it means to do like hand to hand like combat. And that's kind of what like happens when Dimple takes over anybody's body. Like, all of a sudden, like, it turns into like a kung fu kind of anime. It looks really, really good.
Yeah, and then again, there's also like conversation of him like, fuck, like, Mob is so weak, but he's gotten stronger because he's been in the club, in the Body Improvement Club. And again, and then anyways, Mob does end up breaking that psychic barrier of Mogami,
right.
So he gets into his mind, head, brain, dream dimension he's having, but then again, that's when it happens that he's living through.
Right, so you're right. I guess I said it out of order. Like at first, when he invades Minori's body, it's just like a white space. It's a white void, right? And like this is Mogami being like, "Oh, you've never actually invaded somebody's consciousness. This is what it's like." And like he kind of toys with Mob and lets him like think that he's gonna win. But then, like, he starts beating the shit out of Mob and being like, see, this is your problem. You're too weak and you're too lenient and you don't let people get away with anything. And, like, Mogami is, like, that lesson is a reoccurring thing for the rest of the season after it's brought up in, like, episode 3, episode 4. So then, like, you're right. So then he breaks through that initial plane, goes into the actual, like, psychic plane, and that's when he gets trapped in the dream.
He breaks this dude, like, in stone under his foot. He makes him into stone and breaks him. And as a fucking audience...
Mogami breaks Mob.
Yeah, Mogami breaks Mob. And then as an audience, you go back into where Reagan and Dimple are. They're like... Oh, he got it. But I'm like, dog, this fool's dying in there.
Well, shout out to Dimple, though, because, like, it's during that initial fight inside of the white space. That's when, like, Minori's body starts going crazy, and that's when Dimple's doing kung fu. After that dies down, I think Dimple says it's another, like, 15 minutes, and Reagan's not worried, but Dimple's like... I don't know, man. Like, 15 minutes is too long to be in somebody's mind space like that. Like, he could lose his sense of self. And that's what happened. Because, like, that's why we see, like, weeks go by of Mob in the dream. And he's just in that cycle. And it's not until, like, he's getting jumped by that gang and he starts, like, beating the shit out of everybody that Dimple, because it's, like, the mangaka won... Like, he has his gag portion, so all you see is just Dimple, who's just this green blob, like, come out of somebody's nose like he's a goddamn booger.
Yeah.
And just like, hey, Mob, you've been in here a while, you alright?
He's like, who are you? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, and he just looks around and he's just like, oh, shit, Mob, you just beat up these guys? Like, you really lost it, haven't you? And then he regains his sense of self. Mobius, what's his name?
Kageyama?
No, Mobami, or... God, why can't I remember his name? Mogami, thank you. So that's when Mogami's like, okay, enough games. Yeah. And, like, what you were talking about earlier, he had absorbed a bunch of different evil spirits. So then we get, like, a kaiju fucking anime for, like, a half episode. Yeah. And it's absolutely insane because, like, Mob is pissed. So he goes to 100%. And like, he starts just destroying this alternate universe, just like liquidating like whole like acres of ground, just like big psychic blasts. It's all liquidated. Big psychic blasts, all liquidated. And it's just like these giant, like 1,000-foot tall, like shapeless creatures are just trying to swarm him, and he just big Sakuga blast. But like, because of the way the CGI looks, how we were describing like Mob's psychic powers are animated, like all you see are just shapes and colors, and it's the coolest thing like that like I've seen in a while. Yeah. Like it's just shapes and colors and big black blobs like being disintegrated, and it's like the best thing. It's like you're so enthralled watching it.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And even like the motion, you can argue that it's a little Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, very.
But it's so good. It's so good. Like you said, the colors are fucking insane and whatnot. And not even that. Like, I believe that they don't really defeat him. Like they stagger him.
They exorcise him from the body.
Correct.
Successfully.
Yes, successfully.
And there's a part though where Mob just tells Dimple, like, get the fuck out of here. Like I'm a disintegrate everything. Leave before you get hurt. So like us as an audience, we're just seeing little booger Dimple just trying to like just jet his way out of the sky, and all these other monsters are trying to get him. Yeah. He's just like, run, Dimple, run. And so like they exercise the body. But one of the psychics that was in the building for the exorcism that the billionaire had hired was one of the Claw members from last season, the one whose power is to capture other evil spirits.
Correct.
So when they exorcise Mogami,
this would like.
Yeah, he snatches it and just like puts it in a little canteen.
Flask.
Yeah, a little flask. Yeah. Thank you. And that comes up later. But like,
it looks like a fireball shooter almost. Not like a flask.
Was it like blue? It was like bright blue with like stickers on it or something.
Stickers on it. Yeah. But it looked little. Yeah. It was cool.
It's dope.
It was really cool. Yeah. And then he's even like, I'm gonna show up later, guys. You know, villain shit.
Which like you forget about. Which is like cool writing. You know what I mean? And that's about like where we start getting the subplot that you were bringing up earlier about the fallout between Reagan and Mob, like from that episode onward.
Yeah, Mob just after the big defeat, and it feels like such an accomplishment. It's almost like every time we have a big fight, we have like a weekend off almost.
Yeah,
but it's just like the next day probably, and Mob is just living his normal mundane life with his family and stuff. But then we start talking about the marathon at this point?
Yeah. So, like, Mob has convinced himself that he's going to ask out Tsubomi, right?
Yeah.
And the way he's going to ask out Tsubomi is by impressing her when he gets top 10 at the marathon.
Right now he's like 270.
Yeah, they were like, yes, last year he got 193 out of 200. So you were in the bottom 10 last year. And, but like his part-time job with Reagan at the Spiritual Consultant Society or whatever it's called is he's essentially just on call, and whenever there's an actual exorcism, an actual psychic event, like Reagan calls him up, is like, hey Mob, I don't want to exert my psychic powers today, can you come exorcise this demon?
Yeah, because he's a fucking con man.
He's a con man, and like even he recognizes that, and most of his jobs are just like people aren't really possessed. They're not really any. He's like a masseuse,
a glorified masseuse.
Yeah, he's a glorified masseuse is what he calls himself. Like most of the time when people come in, they're like, "Oh, I just have this crazy haunting
demon on my shoulders."
Yeah, this haunting weight on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And he's just like giving them a top tier massage with bath salts and not bath salts, or anything.
just regular table salt. He's just like fucking throwing table salt at him.
It like so. Whenever there's a real job, like Mob does the
all
actual
the time,
all the actual heavy lifting, and like Reagan tries calling him when I
believe this was after the marathon.
It's before.
It's before?
It's before. Like, the marathon's, like, I want to say episode, like, 9, episode 10.
Okay.
Because it's right about here that he's hanging out with the Body Improvement Club and, like, the Psychic Club, because they share a club room, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, Mob, you never hang out with us after school. Let's go to a karaoke cafe. And that's when Reagan calls him. And it's for some bullshit that, like, Mob dealt with in 5 seconds. He's like, Master, I didn't like this. This is really mean. He's like, don't be calling me for nonsense anymore. And, like, Reagan's like, okay, whatever, Mob, rolls his eyes. Super disrespectful.
Correct.
Not respecting Mob's time. Because, like, he just wants to have friends. And then he does that again, like, a day later or 2 days later. And Mob's just like, no, dude, like, I'm not going. Like, you've been super disrespectful, and I don't appreciate how you're treating me. And, like, he kind of tells him off a little bit. And then Reagan gets, like, his own arc. So we essentially get, like, a mini, like, Reagan arc in the middle of the season.
And I think you sugarcoat it, because fucking Reagan was like, what, you ain't got no friends? What do you got? You got a girlfriend? You ain't got no girlfriend, you
like,
fucking
super
loser.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like,
being a dick. A real dick. And it's happened kind of before. It's been more passive aggressively, but here is really, like, not really that passive, but super aggressively.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, good for Mom. It's like,
yeah,
so
Reagan's like a fucking dickhead, bro.
You go. It's like, and then the friends, like, the next day, they're like, hey, Mom, you didn't go to karaoke, but let's go. Like, fuck it. And then they go, which is great. And then this is the best spiral down that I've seen in Reagan, because you won that for that villain.
Well, I didn't even feel like it was a spiral down. Like, he sleeps on it, he wakes up, Mob kind of quits. Reagan, like, in the middle of the night, and the next morning is just like, I'm going to redo myself. He's motivated. He's like, I'm going to work harder to get new jobs. I'm going to expand my customer base. I'm going to build a website. I'm going to be active on, like, blogs. And
you're right. It was not a spiral down, but it was like a whole, like, roller coaster of emotion with Reagan.
You know what? You're right, because he was depressed that first night because it was his birthday.
Yeah, he was depressed and then happy and then depressed again while, like, the whole thing with the TV happened.
Right. So, like, initially, it's his birthday that Mob tells him off and tells him to go fuck himself. And then he gets on Facebook being like, oh, I'm so popular. I never log in on Facebook. I'm sure I have so many messages and friend requests.
Yeah, just a message from his mom.
Yeah.
It was a Minion meme or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. and that's when Reagan sleeps on it, wakes up the next morning, redoes, like, his image and gets his shit together.
Yeah, I think she sends him, like, hey, go look at this interview. Go get a job here. Some shit like that. Something along those lines. But yeah, he goes into this spiral down because he goes into the bar that he used to do when he was drinking a lot, I guess.
Right.
And he's
like,
talking about, like,
he started as a con man by going to this bar where desperate people go.
Saul Goodman is like, he's just hearing for dumb people to be like, hey, you want a coin?
Yeah. Just like, oh, I heard you have an issue. It sounds like you need an exorcist. So just suckering people, and, like, he goes in there knowing that, like, he's gonna sucker them. here, and he gives them like relationship advice and like real therapy, like almost like it was sound advice at the time.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, she hasn't called me back, she hasn't texted me.
Don't worry
What do you
about
think I should do? Fuck her. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you, she's not hitting you up. Why are you upset? And so that's when. So oh god, I keep getting it mixed up. But like we're right. We're on track. He redoes his image, gets his website up, like starts doing TV interviews, starts like getting like more traction, like starts expanding his business a lot more. And he's like, yeah, I don't need mob. Like I'm doing so good. I'm doing more masseuses, selling better candles.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say, as much of a con man he's putting in almost the work you would do as like a regular person.
I think he's really motivated.
He'll like sage the house or like do this pseudo
like it's all bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
But like he's doing work.
Yeah.
Like he's showing up.
Yeah.
He's constantly busy. He's making his money.
Yeah, like if a Mexican woman come up to me and hit me with leaves and shit like that, like I'll be like, thanks. You know what I'm saying?
So then there was a point in The Exorcism where the old guy that you were talking about that's an actual psychic that has like a following, he got minorly possessed by Mogami for a second, and Reagan does one of his exorcism techniques, air quotes, like exorcism techniques, and just like knees him in the fucking gut so hard that it basically like does the job and exorcises Mogami. So
yeah, flying the
flying exorcism kick.
Yeah, flying exorcism knee. Yeah, so shit like that. I'm like, fuck yeah, and he knocks out this old man, which is hilarious.
It does exorcise Mogami from it. So,
Yeah.
but like that old guy got told when he woke up that like disrespectful ass Reagan,
Just hating ass motherfucker.
Just-
Because he saved them.
He did.
Essentially.
He saved him. So Reagan, thinking that this old man's doing him a favor for him exorcising Mogami from him, invites him to like a live TV broadcasting about like getting experts
A psychic
and
show?
psychics, to do like a show to prove whether or not psychics exist.
Don't go to psychics, guys. Don't go to tarot.
It reminds me of like old Mexican like TV almost, like the shit my grandma watches.
Dude, Caso Cerrado,
That's
bro.
what I'm
They're
saying.
on some bullshit. Like, I tell my mom, is like, look, mom, like, even this podcasters, like, have talked about friends of their friends who get paid to act in this, like, judging style, Kurt style kind of shows. I'm like, it's fake. It's like, yeah, but I like to watch it. It's like, it's so dumb, though, because, like, this, it brainwashes the fuck out of people, old people.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
old like religious people.
Yeah, and they're just like, mijo, you better not be vaping.
Baby.
You know, vaping's bad. Which it is. Don't vape either. But...
No, yeah, 100%. So then, like, Reagan goes on this TV show, and, like, he thinks the old man's going to do an exorcism. And, like, again, Reagan is a con man. He's not under the delusion that he's not a con man. He's very aware of the con he's doing. So he's just like, okay, I'll go along with it, whatever bullshit. I'll show face. I'll get more customers, yada, yada, yada. And then he figures, because it's live television, that everything's scripted, that there's a director, there's producers, that this possessed child is an actor.
Which it was.
Reagan recognizes that. Reagan throws salt at him like he always does, which is such a meme. And the kid actually reacts, and Reagan's like, "Oh, he is an actor because my salt trick has never actually worked on anybody before." So he's just like, "Okay, so we're selling."
He
air
takes
quotes,
it as
selling.
a green light to just be a dumbass for 30 minutes.
Yeah, so he does an exorcism for 30 minutes, but the actor being possessed isn't giving up. And at a certain point,
And it's just like a kid, like, just animated like
just dead and stupid, but like he reacts whenever Reagan like does something exorcisty, right?
Yeah.
So that's like part of the show. So then like the host at a certain point tells the old man, the actual psychic, like, "Hey, can you step in?" And Reagan's like, okay, I thought this was part of the script that I was supposed to be doing this, but that actor kid's not giving up. And the old man looks at the possessed kid, and is just like, he's not actually possessed. He's an actor. And then the TV producers and everybody else is like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck that other guy's been doing for 30 minutes, but thank you for realizing that this kid's an actor and that Reagan guy's actually a fake.
Yeah, and a phony and a bad money man.
So, like, Reagan essentially, like, dips out. There's people, like, requesting refunds on the internet calling him a scammer.
But, like, then again, everybody got a good exorcist payout out of it because Mob was with him.
The media starts like calling his old clients, and they're like, "Do you feel like you were scammed by Reagan?" They were like, "Oh, is he a scammer? I don't know. I felt like he helped me. I don't know if he really is a scammer or not."
And then you start seeing like this tropey, like I don't know where they get it from, like nerd just commenting on the internet.
Yeah. I wonder where they got that trope.
It was really cool. I don't even know if you can call it a trope. It's so new to me.
It's just nerds on the internet.
It's just so new to me. But like, it's just like this guy, just like, I don't know what's going on.
It's like the fat guy from the World of Warcraft episode from South Park.
Yes, dude,
just ugly and greasy. That's why I imagine all my fucking commenters are like, if you don't get our context, like,
yeah.
But so like people are shitting on him, and like the media's like standing in front of Reagan's house, so he can't even go home. He tries going back to that bar, and everyone, like rightfully so, is like, yeah, you're a fucking scammer. Get out of here. You probably treat us like we're all stupid and like make fun of us when you go home.
Yeah, and very crazy.
It's sad because you go from like this very quick like half episode high, and then like the second like us as an audience are realizing it with Reagan, like holy shit, you've been set up. Like that old man wanted to screw you over. So which is like great context. It feels dope when it happens, but like it's such like a quick like emotional journey.
Yeah.
And so, like, Reagan relents. He does a press conference live and streams it, like, on the internet and on the news and all that. But he's copping an attitude.
But right before this is when we get a flashback when he first meets
Mob.
And which is very touching, again, because this emotional ladder that he's going up and down in.
Because Reagan's like, how did I get here?
Yes, exactly. He's like, dude, I just started this place to get some quick money.
He quit his job. He just walked out one day, kind of.
Nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed because he was working at, like, essentially what seemed like customer service. Almost.
Yeah, like office kind of.
Yeah, like anytime somebody asked him what he used to do, he's just like, I worked at some company.
Office Space.
Yes, like Office Space.
I showed up the Office Space the other day.
I like Office Space. I haven't seen it in like a decade.
Yeah, I like hating my job.
Yeah.
But, what's it called?
The broadcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say he gets a flashback of how he started. He's like, I was just gonna do this, and then I did start, and I just started making some stupid money. But then I met this kid, and this fucking kid.
And he was special.
Yeah, he was special, and I told him I didn't even think he was gonna show up again, but I told him to just be a good person, which is really. Like, it just ties the knots in Reagan's character.
Like Reagan's not a bad person.
He's just
kind of
like his moral compass is not.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not a terrible person.
Yeah,
like yeah, like he goes where the opportunity goes. But he's like deep down, like I think what they're trying to say is like he's a good guy.
Yeah, he takes opportunities, but not one that is gonna really like jeopardize someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So so you're right. Like he's getting that flashback while sitting down for the press conference, and he's kind of zoning out. And like people are like, why isn't he answering questions? Why isn't he speaking as much? And then when he does start speaking, it's very short, and like people try shitting on him for his last TV stint, being like, are you a fake?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you robbed people?
He was a really good what do you call those like spinners?
Yeah,
you know
he should have been a politician because like he starts like spinning it back at them. It's like they're like, so you're a fake psychic then? Are you a psychic? Can you be sure that I'm not a psychic?
I'm not going to answer that question because if I say whatever I say, you're not going to be
happy with it.
Yeah, because if I don't say no, and then you're like, whoa, great.
Whoa.
Can we get this guy in office? But,
for real.
Yeah. But then, he's like, and then he starts talking about the whole spiel about like, well, you guys don't have any psychic powers. So, like on the back of his head, he's like, I know someone that does. Like, you guys wouldn't even know if I had this panic. My intentions were semi-good. Again, he was just trying to get a quick buck, but like he did the most that he could as a human.
Right. So then like they try bringing up his clients, and he's just like, have any of my clients expressed that they've been wronged or that they or that I haven't done a good job or anything?
Like fake victims, he always like he tells them fake victims, and he's actually like shitting on this nerd that we see a couple of frames of. He's like, oh, what the hell is this guy doing?
Right, but then like some of his friends in the psychic organization are kind of just like, oh, don't cop an attitude. But then like he's progressively getting better. He's navigating the interview that much better.
And I think the trigger question was like, what did you want it to accomplish by this, or who do you want it to be by this? And that's when he thinks about the flashback, and that's when that's when he comes into a. Like, he in his inner dialogue, he's like, are you watching, Mob? and then out loud he says, "You've grown so much."
Yeah. Like he's thinking about Mob, and he says, "You've grown so much."
It's like, yeah, he's got a love interest. He's got his brother.
He's getting fit.
He's getting fit. He doesn't stop. It's like he's a good person overall.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And it's great. It's great character development.
And for Reagan to be like the person Mob calls master, that's like a really big deal.
Correct.
So, but then, right when that happens, it feels like a mental break on behalf of the audience. Because it's out of context. Like, us as an audience know what Reagan's thinking, but, like, nobody else watching does, or nobody in the interview does.
Everybody's like, "Oh, you're doing this. You're attacking us."
Yeah, so what happens is, like, an actual psychic starts making everything poltergeist float, and everyone starts freaking out, and all the cameras are floating, the people are floating. They're like, "Stop it, Reagan! Stop it, Reagan!" And they're like, "Nah." And he's like, "No, y'all have been really disrespectful. This interview's over. And and everybody watching can take what's happening and make their own assumptions."
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
But like Reagan in his head knows, like he's probably getting another favor, and like he automatically assumes it's Mob because like
and it goes unspoken.
It does. It does
to the audience. It does.
This next scene, the director of season 2 is Yuzura Tachikawa. He's done an interview saying one of the main reasons, probably the biggest reason, he decided to direct season 2 of Mob Psycho 100 was for this next scene. So Reagan walks out of the press conference room.
Good little fun fact.
Hey,
I like fun facts.
So Reagan walks out of the broadcasting space area, and Mob is there with Dimple at the riverbank. And Reagan walks up to him, and he's like, "Did you know?" He's asking Mob, "Did you know this whole time?" And Mob is like, "Yes." And then we get this huge flashback, again, just reiterating the flashback we just saw of them meeting, their journeys together, their growth together, and like it makes me want to fucking cry. Like, they helped each other so much. Like,
yeah, it's cool, dude. Because not only has Kageyama learned from him. Reagan has also learned a lot from him.
And he didn't realize it.
And he didn't realize it. He just had realized this past little scene before. Like, that was his big breakthrough of a character.
Right.
It's great.
It's so sad. Like, we don't get the actual outro song that we normally get.
Oh, by the way, the music.
Hold on, let me get that. Let me finish the scene without crying. Like, it's so sweet. Like, it's so just like, because Mob's. I'm gonna say this in a nice way. He's simple. He's not dumb. He is a quick learner when he needs to be, but he's a very simple person.
He does have like limits to his his introvert personality.
Yes,
like he's working through those.
Yes, exactly. And he's just so like when Reagan's looking at him and he's like, "Did you know?" And Mob says yes. We get that long pause. We get that flashback to the flashback to the flashback, okay. And then Mob's like, "Yes, I know that my master's the best.
It's a good guy.
Is a good guy. Oh my god! I can't.
And then you can see Reagan's heart grow 3 sizes more.
For real, for real. Like, so shout out to Tachikawa. Like, I would have picked it for that reason too. Yeah, like, so that means he had read it. That means he had read the manga, and that manga panel, that scene, like resonated to him then too. And he was like, "Fuck yeah, I will direct the shit out of this."
And I'm telling you, like, the anime at this point could have ended twice already.
Yeah.
You know? But we still have episodes.
It's like episode 9.
Yeah,
it's like episode 8 or 9.
We still have a lot more episodes. You're like, how long is this anime?
The actual plot hasn't even started. Earlier I was talking about the pacing and the storyboarding. It felt like they were wasting time. I felt like we've been through so much, and it's been like 9 episodes.
Yes, and then we've said this in previous episodes. This is a anime that feels like a 24 anime without being it, but in such a good way.
It's so tight. It's so tight.
I'm halfway to the anime. I'm like, I have so much to think about. Yeah, because I like to think about when I watch anime. I shut down. I go to the restroom.
I don't know what thinking's like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've been watching it 9 episodes or 24 episodes at this point. But you do have a lot that you go through with Mob, with Reagan.
It's a big deal.
The one, and I'm bringing this back to the beginning, like when he has the note thing, because his feelings have been already called out. Like at this point, Mob feels embarrassed that he's not feeling enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like that instance with that girl that he read the novel or the story that she was writing, she was like, I do care. It's like, I did care about your story. I wasn't being weird, because she tells him, it's like, why are you being so... like so one note emotionally, you know? And then he's like, no, I do care, and he brings the whole story back together once the bullies like ripped it, and that's like that's the development that we're talking about, that we've been through so much, and even though it's episode 9.
Yeah, in like I think it's crazy that this always happens to us, or maybe it's just me making up connections, or maybe just all anime's connected, I don't know. But like this next episode we're going to be talking about Ranking of Kings with our friend Christopher James, Mr. CJ, and he's been bugging us since like April to talk about Ranking of Kings,
for a
right?
long time
It's been something like that. And Ranking of Kings is a Crunchyroll original by Wit Studio, like the Wit Studio, like the first like 3 seasons of Attack on Titan Wit Studio, and it's a lot of these same themes. It's a lot of this, like, it takes a village. It's about like a young kid support system, and like, but I'm like 9 episodes into Ranking of Kings so far, and I fucking hate it because it's good, but it's good in that sense that like every episode is so sad it makes me like. I don't like feeling sad. I don't like sad media. like Violet Evergarden's cool because like near like the end you get extra like ginormously sad like all at once, right? Ranking of Kings, the main character being a child and like just seeing abuse happen to a child makes every episode so difficult. Because it's like, you're just a baby. Like, why are you fucking, like... Why are you being like this? You're just a baby. Like, stop being mean. And it's like that same kind of sense that we get from Mob. Every time somebody's mean to him or bullies him, it's just like, dude, like, he could murder you, but he's not because he's just this good, like, guy. Like, why are you being like this right now?
Yeah, and if we were in another part of the world where, like, shootings didn't happen, like, this would be... even a more moving kind of story. But, like, goddamn, you know, like, it's on the back of everybody. You know, it's like... it was in the back of my head, at least.
Well, you're talking about like the joke when you're in like public school in Texas, especially, where it's just like that's going to be the school shooter.
Yeah,
the weirdo in the back of the class. Like, I need to make friends with him because he's the one that's going to shoot at the class.
Mm-hmm. And then exactly, and it's just, I guess in season 1, I kind of thought this guy could just do something bad, and not on purpose, but maybe if he gets pushed too far,
which we do get. A flashback in this season about like the first time there was a scene at a park where when he got emotional, he would like if he scraped his knee, if he got hurt, like he would just unleash his psychic power and fuck up his mom's picnic. But what we learned in season 1 is like one of the main reasons why he never lets his psychic power go on purpose is because he hurt his brother on accident. True. Remember? True. So that was like a really, really big theme in season 1. That like when Mob needed to be his full 100% self, he didn't want to, and it was his brother in the back of the room. It's like, Mom, just fucking do it, dude. Like, I'm fine. Like, it's okay. I love you, dude. Like, just do it. Like, save us now, please. So like, you take all these themes, but then you actually give character growth. Like, throughout these other 9 episodes we just discussed, like Dimple and Mob and like the blonde chick that was in the cult from season 1 has started her own cult that's called like the what is it called, the bullhead cult,
the
bowl cut like cult. And like every time she tries recruiting Mob into her cult, he's just kind of like, nah, I don't really need that. I don't really need followers. I kind of just like want to improve my body and do really good at this marathon.
Hang out with my friends.
And hang out with my friends. And she's just like, when did he get mature? What the fuck is this? Like, when did the person everyone swore was an idiot in season 1, now he's just like the most emotionally mature person, but like we've seen it. Like, it doesn't feel like it's been out of nowhere.
Correct.
If anything, it's like almost like the audience's fault for assuming that Mob was static. Because Mob was never static. He was actually internalizing everything. So then, like, we get the actual training episode, the training montage, now that him and Reagan have made up for the marathon.
Yes.
Reagan is involved with training for the marathon now. Like, we've got the master back, Dimple's here, body improvement club's with it, and we're going to get there. And, like, even this girl that I was explaining earlier that wants to recruit Mob into her helmet, the psychic club, that's
the
like
true bulk association, whatever the fuck it's called.
A fake church about Mob that even Mob doesn't want to be associated with. And she's like, "Oh, that's a great idea, Mob. You should totally like enter the marathon. You should get first place by using your psychic powers, and you can break a bunch of records. And that means we can send you to the church and show that their Messiah's here, and then everyone's gonna worship you."
And then he's like, "No,
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that."
And she's like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Because that's not who I am."
Yeah, it's like, I am actually working really hard on this.
Yeah, like Mom's insulted that she would be like, just use her psychic powers. He's like, I've been busting my ass, like dying on the side of the river with these jugs.
And by the way, with like great supporting character as far as like Dimples goes, the body improvement
Body Improvement Club.
Body Improvement Club are so tight, dude.
Yeah.
All those motherfuckers.
They're the homies. They're the homies,
are
bro.
so tight because even though one of the dudes got a size wrong on his shoes, he's like, "Yo, you can have my new cleats. Blah blah blah. You can practice on these." And Mom is practicing, and we've known that. I think one of the emotions was fear because he almost got scared into 100% level by that running lady in that tunnel.
Oh yeah.
Remember? And he was like, "Fuck, I run so slow," which is another like tie back to like him wanting to be in the marathon,
Right?
You know, and do good in the marathon. And he busts his ass, and the body improvement club, when they meet him on the day of the marathon, is like, "Hey, Kageyama, it's like, today we're like we're against each other this time. Like we're not a team."
Well, I want to talk about that shoe scene like a little bit because it was one of the gang, like Mom got into a gang war in season 1 and became like the shadow broker, became like the shadow gang leader of all these middle schools, and one of the members of the Body Improvement Club was the gang leader for their middle school before Mob got involved and started beating everybody's ass. Correct. Which was also where like that blonde psychic from season 1 got his ass kicked because he was the gang leader. I don't
remember that because I'm mixing that with Tokyo Revengers almost. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all like fused together in that sense.
Right.
But you're right. That does happen in season 1.
Right. But like he's involved. He's the one that gives Mobs the shoes in season 2 because his name's Tenga Onigawa. Yeah. He's Josuke.
Yeah.
He's got Josuke's haircut, and it seems like kind of on purpose almost. Like he knows that like Mob is maybe almost embarrassed to like tell his family that like he needs like a new pair of shoes or something, or like maybe his family assumes that Mob sucks anyways and wouldn't like spend like money on shoes for him like
honestly,
that.
I think he was just inept about it. He was like, "You're
didn't
right."
even realize.
Yeah,
he needs
he's
shoes?
like, "I'm running fucking wooden shoes. What are those called? The Swedish ones?"
Yeah,
know,
clogs.
Clogs. I'm running clogs here.
And Tenga's just like, "Oh yeah, Mob, this brand new pair of sneakers. I don't need them. I got them in a size too small. But it's your exact size, right, bro?
Yeah, don't think about it.
Yeah, don't think about it. But just use them, dog.
Yeah.
But then they show up that day of the marathon,
like the no homo attitude,
which makes it gay.
no homo, bro. But here's some shoes.
So then, like, Tenga, on the day of the marathon, he's really proud of Bob. He's just like, okay, cool. He's been using the shit out of those shoes.
Because he sees them. Yeah, he sees them. We see a frame of the shoes, and they're all rugged.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah, good for you, bro. Like, that's what they're for. Like, you're running outside. We're getting ready for a marathon. That's what's up. Yeah. And then, like, Reagan's been running times with him. They've been, like, Reagan's in shape now because he's been running laps with Mob. And like, that's part of, like, the character development we just got from Reagan. Reagan's, like, not thinking about himself. He's just, like, one of his best friends is this fucking middle schooler. Like, probably his best friend is this middle school kid. Yeah. So, like, he's just like, well, I gotta help my friend. I gotta help my employee. I gotta help my buddy. Like,
and he, like, outside, like, sidelights him. Like, I'm sorry, no, sidelines him. Like throughout the marathon.
Oh yeah. He shows up in like track gear with like the short like track shorts, but like he's coaching him along the way. Like so, Mob has his own.
Not really. He shows up
halfway through,
and his legs already bummed.
Right, so that scene's really fucked up too because we know we've been dealing with Mob trying to train for this marathon for like half a season, and like
quarter of a mile in, I think it trips or something.
Felt like sooner. It felt like 100 feet. It felt like 100 feet in. He's just like boop, and gets this giant scrape on his knee. They animate the blood, they animate the gore, and he's limping. Dimple's following him the whole way because Dimple's essentially like his fucking Jiminy Cricket. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a Jiminy Cricket.
Like you know what I mean? And Dimple sees Mob limping. We're like a tenth of a kilometer into this shit. He's limping, but like he's going for it. And like he's not talking. Mob's not talking. Dimple's like, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" Mob's like not even acknowledging him. He's just focused. He's limping. He's running jagged. He's breathing ugly. He's doing those ugly faces that you were talking about.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Reagan joins him. Is like, yo, it's like, damn, this dude is like, he's focused.
And even the parents knew like his goal was to get top 10, and they're waiting for him
at the finish line.
Well, no, halfway through.
No, at the finish line, and they're like, I think we should wait like halfway through.
Mom never got to the finish line.
I know.
Parents, so they moved to the halfway line. Oh,
yeah.
okay,
like,
okay.
They knew.
Mom,
they
know their
Mom.
son.
You know what I'm saying?
They know their son.
Yeah.
And so like 100, like the brother, Mob's brother's in the top 10, and then like 100, like half the pack goes by. 150 people go, or 100 people go by because it's 200, right? And like they still haven't seen Mob. About 130-ish, Mob shows up, and he's limping, he's ugly, and his parents are just proud. They're just like, oh my god, like he's fucking doing it, like he's not 193, like let's go. And that's when Reagan shows up. That's when like. It's crazy because like it's about a psychic, and we get this whole episode that's just about a jog of like this out of shape kid just trying to get it to this finish line.
He ends up passing out, unfortunately.
He does pass out. So like
he's like in the 130s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's in the 130s, and then like eventually just kind of passes out. And at the finish line were the people from that fake church of his. Cult. That fake cult of his that we're gonna
real cult, fake religion.
Yes, real cult, fake. Yes, exactly. Okay, thank you. But they figured out what middle school he went to because they were looking at clips of Reagan's press conference, the one where like Mob made everything float and go crazy, and they saw a kid with that middle school uniform in the crowd, and they were able to focus in on the button.
Salt High School.
Yeah, it was called Salt High School.
Salt Academy. Or
so they focus on the button, and it's got an S, and they're like, okay, that's for Salt Academy. So they're waiting at the finish line of this marathon, waiting to get a picture of who they think their Messiah is. But Mob didn't make it to the finish line because he passed out. Because they assumed that if their Messiah is this god-level psychic, that he was going to make it, and he never did. Yeah. So he wakes up in like the nurse's office. And the nurse is kind of explaining, like, like your brother made top 7.
And again, like you said about like Mob's emotional maturity at this point, it's almost it wants the audience to expect that he's gonna not freak out, but he's gonna be like, darn it.
Yeah, there's like a pause. There's like a full second.
But then he's like, oh, cool, my brother made it.
Yeah,
like, yeah, and like just being jiggy with it, with everything that's coming at him. Is like,
shout out to Ritsu, love
like,
that guy.
Your leg's fucked up, blah blah blah. Like, we got you, this and that. Your brother made it top 10.
I called your parents,
yeah, like parents yeah. And he wakes up, and he's just, even his brother is almost having this inner dialogue of like, he's taking it really well.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And at some point, they're treating him like a side duck, which it's proper to treat him like a side duck, but it's like a lot of babying around him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which feels weird that now that I'm a parent, it feels weird to me.
To coddle somebody like that?
To coddle somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, the mom was so impressed with Mob during the race, she decided she was going to cook something extra yummy. Mm-hmm. And so they're all waiting around the dinner table.
What did she make?
I don't even remember.
I
don't ever remember.
I meant sloppy joes today.
Did you?
Yeah.
I haven't cooked in years. So anyways, they're all waiting for Mob. Ritsu hears a doorbell. He thinks it's Mob, goes to the door. But it's not Mob. It's the son of the leader of Claw, whose name is Sho Suzuki. He's got like orange hair and like a spiky head. That we met him in season 1. He's kind of like this morally ambiguous character. We didn't know what side of the spectrum. We didn't know what side of the moral spectrum he was on in season 1.
He looks like a Digimon.
Kind of. He looks like a Digimon character. Like he looks like Ty almost, or Matt. And he kind of helped in season 1, like Mob and his crew overthrow that sect of Claw because they were doing fucked up shit. And like Sho said, he's kind of got animosity towards his dad, who's actually the leader of like the organization Claw.
Evil Reagan.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sho's dad is essentially evil Reagan.
Yeah.
So,
Dark Brandon.
Dark Brandon. So anyways, Ritsu is scared shitless like the second he sees Sho because he knows what Sho's capable of.
Yeah.
And he's just like Sho, Ritsu and Mob's mom tries coming to the door, and Ritsu's like, no, get away. And then we have a cut to Mob like trying to walk up to the house.
Oh yes,
along the river, and all we see is a smokestack coming out. And it's Dimple that's like,
wait.
I think that's your house.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's your house, Mob. And then, so they run up, and, like, Mob's house is on fucking fire. So us as an audience, with Mob, we're like, holy shit, Sho just blew up his house and blew up, like, Mob's family.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Yu Yu Hakusho scene when when Yu Yu is inside of the building and the light's on fire.
Right.
Yeah, because Mob just goes in there. And I'm guessing he's using some sort
Doesn't
of
Yusuke's like girlfriend like save him and kiss him in the fire? Isn't that how that goes in Yu Yu Hakusho? You're talking about season 1 of Yu Yu.
Yeah, no, she goes in there and
because he's in a coma still because he doesn't have a spirit.
She pours water on herself. She walks into the fire to not burn so quickly,
and then she kisses him, and that's how he gets back into his body.
And I think that's when Ipu or Apu or Upu or
I miss Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho's cool. Shout out to Roby, yeah, and he goes in there, and he's losing his shit, dude. And it's weird because he's losing his shit,
like instant 100%,
a la Hunter x Hunter, bro. Like he's losing his mind.
Like when Gon goes like ape shit mode, like
yeah.
It like the like. So we usually get that counter of Mob's personality. We get the number, right?
So distorted.
100. Right. So like Mob uses his psychic ability to kind of coat himself, walk into the fire, try to see where his family's at. And like as he's walking up the sets, it's like 80, jumps to like 95, 96, 97, 98. And he's just like, okay, cool. It seems like nobody's here. Like, I'm sure they got
trying
away.
To talk himself out of his own thoughts.
And Dimple is too, because Dimple's trying to calm him down too, because he knows what Mob's capable of. And then he opens like one final door, and he sees corpses. He sees fucking flaming corpses, and it goes instantly from 100% to just like question marks, to just X's, like infinite. Like you don't know what level he's at right now.
And I didn't know I was watching Berserk, dude. At this point, I didn't know I was watching something like Men in Abyss movie. I didn't know I was watching something like this until.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought up Made in Abyss. Before we move on, I do need to bring up that like even though. Like, I kind of already pressured us after Ranking of Kings where we talk about 86 for a selfish reason, because I've been buying, like, light novels lately, and I want to know whether or not I should buy the 86 light novel series. But we've been talking about for, like, 3-4 months already. We finally have the opportunity, now that they're readily available, to watch some of our favorite sequels that we haven't had an opportunity to watch. We can finally watch Made in Abyss Season 2. Yes. We can finally watch the Odd Taxi movie.
Oh.
So like, we have a lot of things that we can watch that we've been really excited for, that we've been talking about, like, for all year, basically.
Yeah. It's hard to... Like,
there's not enough weeks in the year to watch everything we want to watch.
And when you watch something dope, including Mob Psycho, like, god damn, you just feel so accomplished with your week.
Yeah.
Because Digimon, god damn.
Worst week.
You know, the second half of Death Note, god damn, you know?
Everything after, what's his name, L dies.
We haven't even touched, like, back on Food Wars, because I think we're scared of that episode.
Yeah.
But I think we're better. I think we should try it.
You think so? We can. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we should do Food Wars Season 2. But anyways, where are we?
Mob goes apeshit, infinity mode, and he learns a new ability instantly. In like, Dimple even mentions it. Like, he uses like instant clairvoyance, but over like a giant like the city-wide field of view,
like a 10-block radius or some shit.
Yeah. Well, like bigger. It feels like the whole radius of the city. Like instantly, like Dimple's like, "What do you mean you can't feel them?" And Mob's just like, "You're right." And then we see like a radar, like a sonar, just like emanate around him. He's like, "Found them," and just like Superman's his way out of there.
Like Morbius, the #1 movie on Netflix.
I'm not fucking watching that shit. I'm never watching that garbage.
Dude, I started it. God damn, it's bad.
I'm not watching that bullshit. I'm really not watching it.
Damn, it's bad. No, don't watch it.
So then, like, Mob, like, jets over to a group of psychic gangsters who are members of Claw and, like, just starts beating the shit out of them. Like, they're gangsters. They try talking mess instantly, and, like, Mob just starts one-shotting people. He starts one-punching man, everybody.
With psychic powers.
Yeah, because he's just like, you're fucking with my family. We're like, I'm done. I'm not asking questions. I'm not playing games. Like, tell me where my family is or you're dead.
And it is almost. I don't know. It happens so quickly that almost as an audience watching his all of the shit's percentage bar go wild, that you almost think that's gonna be like a Hulk kind of situation.
Yeah,
but it's almost
that's
like
how it treats it.
But it's almost like a smart Hulk kind of situation because he goes up to like the villains, is like, you're not it because you have what, like air powers, and you have ice. Oh, the other guy was just a strong man.
Guy,
a muscle guy. He's like, no, I don't need you guys. I need the guy who knows how to make.
Who's the pyrokinetic?
Yes.
Who's the pyrokinetic, and who's the one making these mannequins? Because I need to know whether or not that's my actual burnt up family. Or not.
Yeah, and he's like on the thread about like realizing that. Like if he realizes that his actual family is dead, like
nuclear holocaust. It's Akira in this bitch. Yes. Literally Akira.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then, the previous like defected members of Claw from season 1 are keeping tabs on him, and like it's that guy that does the punches, the psychic punches that he wraps his power around that almost like beat up Mob really bad in season 1. He's the first one that catches Mob, and like they pressure him into the car. And they're kind of like, okay, come with us. Like, we're going to show you where your master's at, where your brother's at, yada, yada, yada. And Mob, like, kind of, like, totals the car in an instant because he thinks that they're taking him to his family. And they're like, well, we don't know where your family is. We're taking you to your brother and your master. What? Yeah. He's just like, he makes, like, a barrier in front of the car, flips it, causes the airbags to deploy, and, like, it starts flipping.
Fucks everybody up.
He just fucks everybody. And they're like, whoa, we're taking you to your master and your brother. And he's like, oh, why didn't you say so? So then he levitates the whole car and just, like, floats it to where the hideout was.
I was telling V about this thing, too, Like, I know we just saw, like, a car wreck, but, like, a car wreck is very serious, and also, like, knocking out people is very serious. Like, you can't let somebody just be knocked out.
Yeah.
Because that just...
it
becomes, like, a brain damage kind of thing.
It's like those old World Star, like, fight comps. Like, they would encourage people to keep punching people, like, after they were knocked out, and they were fighting in fucking, like, concrete ditches.
And
the internet was a terrible place even, like, 10 years ago.
And it's not fun, but like the car crash, I'm just trying to emphasize how
strong Mob
dark
and
too.
Yeah, because like Mob could have seriously hurt everybody in the vehicle without even trying. Like it was just his knee jerk reaction to just flip the car. So then like they get to the hideout. It's Hanazawa from season 1, the blonde guy that had the big goofy hair after Mob had kind of like shaved his head during the gang fight. It's Reagan. It's the Awakening Lab from season 1. So all those dumbass like artificially made psychics that like are barely psychic.
It turns into My Hero Academia.
Yeah, kind of. But like, we start getting real badass powers and real badass fights, like
and
out
real
of
dumbass
nowhere.
powers too.
And real dumbass powers out of nowhere. So basically, the plot from here on out is one of my favorite plots from My Hero Academia, which has actually happened like twice or 3 times now that I think about it, where an evil organization is trying to get like high-powered psychics and is going to take over the world.
And we have this character who can absorb abilities.
Right, which we don't know that at first, but all we know is there's this god, untouchable level psychic, like Mob level psychic, that's running Claw, which we had already met in season 1, and we know his son is Sho. So, once Sho... Well, I don't even think... Sho and Ritsu are there, right? Sho and Ritsu are not there.
No.
So, like, again, Mob, like, shows up in the hideout with Reagan and Hanazawa and the rest of these dumbasses.
He's still fucking lit up. She's like,
and just kind of passes out.
What's up, bro? Yeah.
He's so strung up, he just passes out from stress.
Well, fucking Reagan pulls Dimples aside. It's like, what you fucking tell this kid? Tell me right now. He's like, dude, I told him his family was not. It was not his family. I told him they were alive. I don't know, bro. Like, it felt that way, but I don't know.
It's like when your boy's in the middle of a violent blackout. You're like, yo, what happened?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. Somebody bumped up into him, and then what are we gonna do? We gotta get him out of here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We gotta put him to bed. What do you mean?
So, like, Dimple thinks that because Reagan at one point is like, are you kidding me, bro? Like, you know what's gonna happen if he finds out if you lie to him? It's like, he's gonna lose his shit.
He's gonna exercise you. He's gonna liquidate me. Like,
he's gonna go. So he goes up to Mob to Kageyama. I like how they call him Kageyama.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He gives him more of a person name to him
as opposed to Mob.
Yeah, and Kageyama is like still lit up and raging, and comes up to him. He's like, "Hey, dude, your family's still alive. Like, we know for a fact that your family's still alive. Just passes out.
Yeah.
Goes to sleep.
Well, it's like
Miss fucking from Demon Slayer.
Oh, Nezuko. Well, like it reminded me of like real world situations. Like if you've like
adrenaline rushes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I've been in rollover car crashes, and like, but that sleep is insane. After like you finally like
you wake up, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, and then you actually feel it the next morning. Like Jesus Christ! But that's how it felt. Like he was so strung up, he was so stressed, like losing his shit. And like the second, like he got the opportunity to like calm down, like it happened. But then again, like. Mob is so strung up and already at 100%, we get like that One Punch Man Saitama effect where it's like we have our all-powerful psychic that we need to remove from the story for a couple episodes.
I was just about to say.
Which like is both infuriating, but I get it. Like I understand because the minute Mob hits the scene, like all this other like side fighting doesn't exist.
Yeah. And we've seen it before. You know, Goku being heartsick, Goku being in the cryo chamber,
right?
Mandalorian being in the.
We have to hold off Majin Buu until Goku can resurrect. Come on, everybody!
Where's the fucking medicine from the future? Really good plot lines. You know, not a lot ever happened after that. You know, and. But yeah, it does turn like a little.
I forgot that was the fucking plot to like the Cell Saga.
You know,
where's the fucking medicine from the future?
Yeah, exactly. And it does turn that way. But like you said, it's understandable because they walk us up to this point of him being asleep, which is a really good story.
Like he's just knocked out for like 2-3 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. The androids too. That was the Cell Saga. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then he's up there and he's running the fucking thing. And
I think you're right. I think the androids. I think their saga is actually named the Android Saga.
Oh, okay. So it's the Android Saga that he's heartsick,
and then it's the Cell Saga. It's like how, like
because they removed him from the Cell Saga too because he died.
Well, it's like how the Saiyan Saga leads up to the Frieza Saga, even though they're kind of technically the same saga. You know what I mean?
Dragon Ball. Here.
Dragon Ball.
Hey, Hispanic Heritage Month.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Shut up. Anyways, what is going on? Okay, so we have like 2 different ground crews right now, right? So we have the Awakening Lab being led by Hanazawa and Reagan, but then we have Sho's resistance team, and he's got a group of 5, and one of them includes Ritsu. So then we finally get exposition from Sho talking to Ritsu that after what we had seen where Sho met Ritsu at the door and Ritsu's mom, like Kageyama's mom, like approached them. Sho didn't actually blow them up. He gave them tickets to an all-expense-paid spa, which is also the plot to the OVA. So, like, the Kageyama like parents are just totally fine. They're having an all-expense-paid fucking traditional style like hot spring spa vacation. So like they're completely fine. And like we get an interesting piece of dialogue from Sho saying that Ritsu actually has a higher latent potential than Kageyama does. Well, than Mob does, which isn't really like brought up again in season 2, and we don't see like him having a higher potential than Mob like at all.
Yeah, no, it just.
But it's interesting because like season 3 was announced, so I don't know. Maybe that might be what's going on.
I mean, Sho we closed the ribbon on him pretty good.
In season 1?
Yeah, I know season 2.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I don't think.
No, I'm talking about Ritsu's latent potential. Because Sho told Ritsu that Ritsu has a higher latent potential than Mob.
Got you, yes.
But, like, we don't see that in this season.
Because that was mentioned at the end of season 1, correct?
Yeah. No, it's season 2. It's this season. It's this season. It is this season when they're on their Sho's resistance team or whatever. True. So, Sho's dad, Mr. Suzuki, Evil Reagan, he's finally created enough artificial psychics, and he has enough powerful psychics on his end that he's down to try for world domination. So they invade. Well, they take over a news broadcasting agency, and one of his psychics like has the power of technology or media or something. I don't know. Like this is where we start getting that Hatsu dynamic. Like
and then Bakugo and Midoriya try to get him, right.
Yeah, exactly. So he just broadcasts to the world that, hey guys, I'm Dr. Evil and I'm here to take over the world, and psychics are better than lowly humans.
$1 billion gazillion.
No, he doesn't even want that. He's just like, y'all should just give in now.
Yeah, Magneto kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yoshi's is given now because yeah, exactly. It's like mutants are the superior race, psychics are the superior race. Bow down to us, be our slaves, or just die.
Yep.
So everyone in the city like kind of evacuates, and then Sho and Ritsu are gonna like invade like head on, but then the Awakening Lab, led by Hanazawa, are gonna be led by Reagan, and they're gonna try to go in a different way. So what happens is during that broadcast, they kidnapped the Prime Minister of Japan, and then Hanazawa gets in a fight with God, what's his name? With Ryo Shimazaki. And Ryo Shimazaki is probably like I think he appears more broken than even like Mr. Suzuki.
Well, let me tell you, if the direction team and the frame team and the people in charge of like the holy shit department,
Yeah.
had this motherfucker, he teleports,
Yeah.
and at one point he's beating the god living shit out of
out of Hanazawa.
out of the blanket.
Hanazawa.
Yeah, Hanazawa, and he is POV holding him. In the background, it's changing because he's punching him into a car, teleports both of them into the sky, and hits him in the fucking on a
Well, that's
building.
not even here. They fight twice.
No, I know.
Oh,
but
okay,
like,
okay.
What I'm saying about this character, because you're saying that he's fucking OP.
It's like if Daredevil had the power of Nightcrawler.
Yes, exactly. And he's
Like-
just beating the shit out of
So
him.
like he's blind, but like via spiritual pressure and special magical hearing, he can hear and tell where everything's gonna be. He also has like slight future sense, so he can dodge bullets.
But see, like here, if in Dragon Ball we could have gotten a scene like that, that would have been crazy because we have what's it called
Instant transmutation.
instant
Transmission.
transmission.
Transmutations for fucking Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, instant transmission. Like, if that could have been a scene in Broly, like that would have blown everybody's brain out.
Yeah.
Which it did to me here.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that hasn't happened yet.
I love when my brain gets blown.
Yeah, I blown brains.
Hey yo.
Not-
Hey yo. So anyways, like Shimizaki's fucking broken, bro. Like Hanazawa thinks like he's a high leveled psychic, like he knows he's not on mob's level, but he's like, I can fight somebody. I have powers over different types of telekinesis, like I can do pyrokinesis, I can do levitating, I can do floating, I can make shields, I can make barriers. But like Shimazaki being Daredevil, but like also being able to teleport and like being able to like slam people with psychic blasts and like just float around like
and I understand Daredevil too, because he has the power to tell the next movement of your opponent.
yeah. Like his senses and his psychic ability is so like tuned high because he's blind that like he has slight like he can predict you.
He's blind? I
Yeah,
never
he's-
got that.
He mentions it once when he captures the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister's like body detail is like, what are you doing, you fucking weirdo? We're just gonna shoot you. And he's just like, well, I'm blind, but you can try to shoot me if you want. And then he just kind of like dodges and zips and zooms and blah 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 blah. So like he is blind. Like I get what you mean. They drew him like with slanted eyes, like they did some of the Chinese characters in Full Metal Alchemist. Like that's like that slight bigotism that like anime has, where like it's a Japanese media culture, so they always like animate Chinese and ethnically Korean people as having more slanted eyes than Japanese people.
Yeah, because even the cute girl, the mob, the Kageyama has a crush on, like they give her the anime eyes. She's the only one with like
big ol' anime eyes.
big old anime eyes and stuff. And we talked about this before. You know, you see Mr. Popo, you see characters.
Yes.
The only one giving good substance to this is Oda, giving people their own ethnicity.
But then there's like that meme right now in One Piece is that like Zoro only fights people of color. It's kind of become a thing, like the past like 7-8 arcs, because like even in early One Piece, it's like most big fights are always like it's always a crew or an organization, a la Baroque works and like Crocodile. And it's always like Luffy's gonna fight the number 1, Zoro's gonna fight the number 2, Sanji's gonna fight the number 3. Mm-hmm. The number 2 in the past like 10 years has usually been a person of color. And like so Zoro's only fighting people of color.
And yeah, it's because I mean our next fight with Shibata, because we have a couple of fights here.
Right. So like
Together.
so you're right. So like Hanizawa gets his ass kicked. The prime minister gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
But then we also have Sho as like his own little resistance team. So it's Sho and Ritsu trying to invade Claw. And then what we learn about Claw is that like there's an ultimate 5. Like the 5 most powerful psychics besides like Sho's dad in the organization. And like they all kind of have cool powers because like it's like that Hatsu dynamic in Hunter x Hunter where like I understand what Nen is. I understand the power of like bigger pressure, a higher Nen means bigger punch, right?
But it at this point in Mob Psycho 100, it feels like a weakness because we have never seen an aspect of Kageyama of Mob being more powerful to a certain thing. So right here, that's what I'm saying. It gets kind of like My Hero Academia-ish because this top 5 have a
different specialty.
A specialty. Yeah.
Right. So like the first one you're talking about is Shibata, and he's just like a musclehead. Like he just can imbue his body with like psychic energy, and that just makes him a Hulk, basically. Mm-hmm. Right. And
it's scary.
It's terrifying because like the Claw at that same time is like invading the hideout where Mob is sleeping, but he's like basically like in a coma and can't be woken up. Mm-hmm. In that same time, like Shibata like knocks Mob's body like into an alley where the Body Improvement Club
happened,
which is cool. Like it's a Deus Ex Machina, whatever. Like
no, but it's cool.
It's really cool. Like you're including the rest of the cast.
They were out in a run.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then they're just running through this alley because like shit's going down because there's a fucking psychic battle in the middle of the street.
That's probably my favorite moment. Of the entire
where Mob's
anime.
body just comes crashing into the fucking sky because a Hulk is like trying to beat up on him?
No, dude, because the Body Improvement Club, they're like, what the hell are you doing sleeping in an alley, Kageyama?
And he's still not waking up.
And he's like, I bet you were running, and we're really proud of you. I bet you got tired.
Even though he's in his uniform.
Yeah. And then Shibata comes in, already rage mode, because Reagan pissed him off by spraying that thing on him.
Yeah, so I can't remember where Reagan got this. If we had ever gotten this before this, like Reagan
from somebody at the place where all the psychics were.
Okay, well, so like Reagan was almost kidnapped by all these like artificial psychics at the lab. He was hiding inside of a fridge, and then he uses like a psychic knockout spray that makes anybody with psychic power just kind of pass out. So that's how Reagan gets away. But then that's how Shibata gets his hands on Mob. So then like Dimple being with Mob, not wanting Mob's body to get destroyed while he's passed out.
Well, there was a moment before we get out of the building and he gets thrown out.
Right.
Dimple possesses again Mob. And Mob, because Mob was about to get punched while asleep, right? Because he's still asleep at this point.
Yeah.
And Dimple possesses him. He uses his spiritual energy. Like Yu Hakusho, but like he uses his psychic power to
I keep calling it like spirit pressure.
to not break Mob's body. He's like blah, 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 and he's trying to fight Shibata, but he's like, damn, like Mob's body is useless. Like he's asleep, he's knocked out, he's not even conscious. Like I'm working this body as a little wimp body that it is. He gets shot out. Lands with the Body Improvement Club
with the leader of the Body Improvement Club.
Shibata is like already level 3 Hulk mode, and the team is like, what? This guy's trying to hurt him? It's like, no way! They go at him and they all get their asses kicked.
Yeah,
they all get their asses kicked. Kageyama's still on the floor. Shibata comes over and is going to stomp him.
Yeah,
and the captain wakes up.
Goda
wakes up, gets under him, push-up stands, And
I'm not gonna let you hurt
he
him.
just holds him, and he looks like a fucking werewolf.
His
and he's
shirt
just like,
starts
and
tearing.
he's just like, no, and pushes the ground down, like Shibata's pushing the body down, but because he's in that stand, he's pushing the concrete down with him.
Yeah.
And he's about to burst the fucking
Blood vessel.
dude. And then fucking Dimples possesses him.
Right.
But we don't know that he possessed him.
He just like kicks off Shibata and like throws him across the alley, and that's an audience. We're like, what the fuck? Like,
he's like, whoa, the fucking captain really did this? And then we see the Dimples, and we're like,
oh, Dimple took over Goat. And then Dimple's just like, oh, this body's great. Like, so Dimple has essentially been doing what like these like certain types of psychics that are imbuing their own like physical strength with their psychic energy. Like that's what Dimple's been doing, and we didn't even realize it. And it's not until he takes over Gota's body he's just like, holy shit, I can work with this one.
And he's just like, boom, socks Shibata.
It's like Hulk against Hulk. We get a Hulk fight.
It is fucking
It's
awesome.
Hulk versus Abomination.
It is awesome. But then Shibata punches the captain out of him?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He punches Dimple outside of Gota.
Is that there?
Well, I can't even remember. But basically he makes like Shibata essentially pass out. Like he wins the fight. But then like
you're right.
But then like Dimple leaves Gota's body because like he's dead. Like he's just like, dude, I can't lift my arms.
Yeah, the guy's like, what the fuck?
He has no memory of what happened. Like the rest of the Body Improvements Club, like, yo, what happened, Team Captain?
They're like, yeah, you did it, Captain.
And he's just like, I did that. Like this like grown giant man.
And then they do the little hooray thing. Like we gotta celebrate your body improvement. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
He's all hurt.
Immobilized. That's crazy stuff, dude. Crazy anime. I really like it. You guys should watch it.
It's insane because like so right about here it gets hard to talk about because we have a lot of like side fights all at once, right? So we have like the rest of the big five of Claw. We get an umbrella guy. We have some nerd with plants. We have Shimazaki, the teleporter, the blind teleporter I was talking about earlier. And Hattori, who's the one that can manipulate like media and stuff like that. So, Sho and Ritsu are going to try to invade the main building where Sho's dad's at. But at the entrance is Shimazaki. And Shimazaki, like, Ritsu's like, Sho, go inside and beat up your dad, and I'm going to handle this guy. Because you said I have super high latent potential. And, like, Ritsu gets his ass handed to him. Bad, because Shimazaki can like teleport. He has like slight future sense. He's got fucking future sight hockey. Like he and that's broken for a teleporter because you can't hit him. The minute you think you have him, he's just gonna teleport behind you and just beat your ass. So everyone's getting their ass kicked by Shimazaki, right? Like Ritsu's getting his ass beat, and like what we do learn is that like the rest of Reigen's crew, so that includes like Hanazawa and like the rest of the Awakening Lab are there too, right? And the ex-members of Scar are there too. So like all these badasses that we've Scar. Yeah. In Claw that we met in season 1, like all these badass members are just getting their asses handed to them by one guy. And like that's such like a like do you remember like the Waco Mundo arc of Bleach?
You have to remind me. I probably don't.
Like Waco Mundo's maybe like season 4 or 5, where Ichigo and his friends go into like the world of the Hollows.
Okay.
To go beat Aizen's ass, but that's when they get the badass like numbered Hollows.
Yeah.
And one of the numbered Hollows like ends up like basically killing Ichigo. But then like when we see his number, he's like number 5 or number 4 or something like that. And like that's how it feels watching this because like because for everyone to be getting their ass beat by Shimazaki, who's like not even the leader of this organization, isn't even like the most badass psychic, is like a crazy deal because like it really does show that like Daredevil having the power of like Nightcrawler is super super broken the more you think about it. And the only way to beat him, like no singular person, maybe not even Mob, could beat him. Well, Mob probably could, but like no.
Mob does.
They kind of beat him on their own a little bit. what you learn is that like you need to not only predict his movements, but you need to catch him off guard.
Yeah.
So like if I throw a punch and then he teleports behind me, he'll probably also predict and have like a sense that somebody's behind him, predicting that he's teleporting behind me. But somebody that's not even on his radar needs to be the one to hit him. So that's like the first time they hit him. They hit him with like a...
They hit him with everybody.
I think the first time they actually land the hit, it's like a
manhole cover.
A manhole cover. Thank you. That's what it was. Was that one of the members of Claw, like while fighting with Shinizawa,
Dunk.
Yeah, catches him because like Shinizawa didn't even know he was there, because him being blind, like is not only like his greatest strength, because like that. Again, it's that Daredevil effect. Like, he has a greater, like, sense around him. But it's also, like, his biggest weakness. Because he literally can't look, like, just 100 feet in front of him and be like, oh, there's a fucking dude throwing a manhole cover at me. Because if he doesn't know to look out for you, then, like, he can't. But, like, after that one hit, you just see Shinazawa just going to town on every... And that's that scene you were talking about where he's, like... He captures Hanazawa and he's just like teleports him into a car door, teleports him into a wall, teleports him into the ground. Like it's like it reminds me of Dragon Ball Super Broly. Like when Broly's just going to town on Goku and Vegeta, just like.
But we have a POV.
Yeah,
Crazy.
It's crazy. Like it's literally what you were talking about earlier. Like Goku using instant transmission, right?
Yes.
I almost said transmutation again. Instant transmission to just be beating somebody's ass just in different like areas at once, and it's absolutely insane.
And they don't fuck away from the city here. They fuck like a 10-mile radius.
It's like Superman style. Like everything's just destroyed. Like,
like a 10-block radius of like just destruction.
Yeah, it's Man of Steel style.
Wild, yeah.
Which
gets mob motivations up.
Right, it does, because at first he's like, oh, we gotta protect the people, and they're like, no, everyone's probably already evacuated. And it's not until Mob hits the scene that, like, Mob almost starts getting his ass kicked, too. But that they really, with Hanazawa's help, are really able to, like, pinpoint where he's gonna, like, appear and, like, get him. Because, like, what Shinizawa, the guy we're fighting, once he feels like he's getting ganged up on, and he does, like, this extra like focus technique and is just extra able to pick up on everybody's spiritual
his
pressure.
Eyes go black and shit.
Yeah, he's like because he's blind. Number one, number two, but like it's like his psychic energy is just in his eyes. Like he can just feel all psychic energy around him, and like as an audience member, I've seen season 2 of Mob Psycho 100 before, but I like forgot because I think I saw it in 2019 when it came out, and I like forgot how they got out of this. I was like, dude, I literally don't know how you can get out of this. It feels like a JoJo thing, like you wrote yourself into a situation, but then like it's like the coolest, dumbest. Fucking no! It's the easiest, dumbest way to get out of it, because like when he goes full mind blast mode and is able to tell all psychic energy in the vicinity, the one motherfucker without any psychic energy, Reagan, just comes up and just punches him. It just knocks him out. And you're just like, duh, like that's how you would beat somebody like that. Yeah. Like he's literally blind and is only picking up on people's psychic energy. So then you feel like doubly accomplished. Like that's good writing.
Like if Daredevil could only pick up on blind people.
Useless. That was useless fucking power. Well, it's like I've never read any of the Daredevil like comics, but I'm thinking of the Netflix show. In season 1, when he's fighting like Elektra for the first time. Well, in the show, like Elektra.
Oh, Elektra, yeah.
Like when he's fighting Elektra for the first time in the show, like they reference that they've known each other before in a past life.
Yeah.
But when he's fighting Elektra, Elektra's good at being silent, which is like his fucking weakness. You know what I mean? Or you like damage his hearing or something like that, and that's how you're gonna beat him. So like it's kind of like that dynamic, which is cool. It's cool. Like and that's kind of how they beat him. Because Mob's been asleep this whole time. He wakes up, everyone's fucked up, and he's just like, holy shit, what is going on? And there's like, Mob, just get up there. Like, go help Sho fight his dad. And on the way up there, like, I think my favorite character from this season, his name's Serizawa? Katsuya Serizawa?
Oh, yeah. Good character. I mean, he is a follow-up character, too.
Well, he's kind of also like a parallel... He's a similar character to Mob, like an older Mob, kind of.
Bro, it's the same thing.
Like, it's Mob and Reagan?
It's Mob and Reagan,
And then Senior Suzuki and Serizawa.
Yeah, correct. It would be if Reagan would
Was
take
evil?
advantage fully to somebody like Mob. It will be Serizawa, because Serizawa was a shunny
Yeah.
that got a umbrella on top of him. He got sheltered from him.
Right. So Senior Suzuki like met Serizawa
Stupid
like
foil, great execution, because I couldn't even tell. I couldn't even pick up on that.
Oh no, it's great because like we when Serizawa was first introduced, like we've seen him with the umbrella. We know he has high psychic energy, but like his flashback is that he was a 30-something-year-old shut-in neat, never had a job, high anxiety, like severely like socially inept, and then Suzuki gave him like a comfort zone, like. So as long as Serizawa is following what Suzuki says and is underneath the umbrella that Suzuki gave him, then he feels comfort and he can participate in the real world and real society, even though he's basically just like being tricked by Suzuki to like kill people and like destroy
Gestapo.
society. Yeah. As opposed to what you're talking about with Reagan, that's essentially what Reagan and Mob have been doing. Like Reagan essentially at first saw Mob as like easy pickings. Like he was easily manipulatable, and like Reagan could use him for his jobs for to make some money.
Yeah, and like how you mentioned earlier, that how Suzuki and Mogami, right? Mm-hmm. And Mogami they're both telling Kageyama that his weakness is him being tolerable to this
Abuse
people.
almost.
Yeah. You know. And when we have the fight with Kageyama and Serizawa, there's a point where Mob has always had the ability to
Steal energy,
or steal energy.
Yeah.
That Kageyama steals the energy for Serizawa, and he's like, dude, all you've been feeling is sad all this time.
Well, what I didn't even
you want to help out. You think you're doing the right thing here.
What I didn't even bring up is immediately before the Serizawa fight, is Mogami comes back. Because one of the ex-Claw members is the guy that captured Mogami in like episode 4. So if one of the Ultimate 5 is this guy that has this busted plant ability and can just make an endless supply of plants on plants on plants and just like kill people with them, it takes like the possession of Mogami, like evil spirit Mogami, to possess these plants and like basically scare. His name is Minagishi. Scares the shit out of Minagishi so much that like he almost kills everybody all over again. And it's Mob having to talk to Mogami, being like, dude, why are you doing this? He did nothing wrong. And Mogami's just like, dude, he hurt people. You claim to only care about people's lives and people's well-being, then you should want to reprimand this guy because he's out here using his psychic ability to hurt people. And Mogami's just, and Mob's just like, Mogami, don't do it. I'm sure he's sorry. I'm sure. Minagishi, please say you're sorry. Please say. He's just like, dude, just don't kill me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then that's the last piece of advice Mogami gives that I was alluding to like earlier in this whole fucking discussion, was that like he was telling Mob again, like, dude, you are too lenient. Sometimes you need to put your foot down. If you want to be the good guy, you need to put your foot down and like stomp out like what's going wrong. And Mogami just kind of dissipates and just leaves. And even I can't remember who it is, but one of the characters in the background is just like, is he actually gone? Will he come back this time? I think it might be Dimple actually.
Yeah. Dimple's there for the audience.
And Mob is just kind of like, dude, I don't know, but like that was kind of good advice.
Yeah.
So like,
well, it's because again we're getting Tanjiro the whole way to the ending.
Yeah.
Because like from everybody that comes up to like Mob, there's this whole thing about like, he did the right thing, he was a good guy at the end or whatever. So
you're right. Serizawa, the umbrella guy, is the one that gets talking no jutsu. Like Mob doesn't want to fight back. He doesn't want to hurt him, and he's just like, dude, you don't even realize you're being manipulated.
I think Reagan comes in. He's like, bro, it's like he's using you, and his own hypocrisy hits him in the audience face.
I think it's Dimple that's saying it.
Oh,
he's just like, no, you're right. It is Reagan like telling Serizawa that, but it's Dimple as the audience's voice, being like, "That's really ironic coming from you, Reagan."
Correct. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And again, it's this. You fall into this like multiverse kind of like, what is it called? Paradox, that what if scenarios of like, what if Reagan was a real dick to Mob? What if, and it's great. It's great to know that characters are making the right decision, just like somebody would in their own life. It's like, I made the right decision. So
we're getting cuts between like the Mob and Serizawa fight, but we're also getting both of the Suzukis. So we're getting oh god, I already forgot his name. Sho. We're getting Sho and his dad fighting, right? And like Sho's convinced that he can actually beat his dad.
I didn't like the dialogue on Sho because it was like such a rush explanation to how he was gonna beat his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been abstinent about my power usage that I hold on to so much energy.
Right, I've been holding on to energy for a month, and I'm gonna use this as my secret weapon to beat you, Dad.
I haven't fapped all week, Dad.
It's again like that Bakugo dynamic where Bakugo can like hold in his nitroglycerin like
with the help of his
with his gauntlets, with his gauntlets.
It's great.
So like, Sho's just like super mega a month worth of psychic energy blast, and Suzuki's just like, that's cute. Now watch this. I've been holding energy for like 40 fucking years, pussy. And just like
get to your room.
Yeah, and just like punches him through the wall. And like this is again where we get backstory to Elder Suzuki, where he's just like, I made this organization because I traveled the world in my 20s trying to find anybody with as much psychic potential as me, and I could find nobody. And I realized that I'm God, I'm the perfect being, and I deserve to rule the world. Again, Magneto. I think Magneto's given that exact speech like several times.
Yeah. And I mean, we're at what, episode 12?
Yeah, it's like
13
episode,
already.
Yeah.
Again, it feels really cheap.
You think?
Cheap almost because we know where this is going as anime watchers.
Right.
We know where this is going.
Yeah.
You know, and we have an amazing fight, amazing animation. We talked about the music too, dude. The music is amazing. The intro, the outro is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, you're right. I cut you off when you were trying to talk about the music earlier.
Yeah, I was like an hour ago.
My fucking bad.
It's okay.
The intro is a 10 out of 10, bro. Like literally, the intro song to Mob Psycho 100 Season 2.
Let your ranch out, Mom.
Get your psych up, Mom. Like it, and it's like all CGI. It has all of the side characters involved. It's like this big circular fucking cake.
A toxic character.
Yeah, like it's this big cyclical carousel of Reagan throwing salt in Mob's head, like being both flush and like 0%ed in psychic energy. It's dimple, it's colors, it's this crazy.
And then it gets into like a Cowboy Bebop kind of intro animation. It gets into like a bicolor, just a bicolor background where it's just black and shadows, and it gets like James Bondy. And
I think the music's excellent. I think the animation's excellent. I think the directing of it is really good because it really shows every single character in Mob Psycho 100 Season 2.
And you remember.
Right. So, like, if you, like, I don't think I skipped it once. But it really shows, like, the last 5 fights in the intro. It shows Suzuki, it shows Shimazaki, it shows Serizawa. Like, it shows literally everybody, but then it's, like, really good because it's, like, episode 1 of Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. I don't know who the fuck these guys are. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like... So, and it's so dope. Like, it's so, like, fulfilling from, like, a directing perspective. It's like how, I'm thinking of, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. How the latter half of Part 4, where the intro changes once the bomb stand is activated and the time-changing stand is activated.
Yeah.
I think that happens in Part 3 too. Once Dio's like power is actually shown to be like the power to stop time, and like it's like again like fan service almost. Like it's really really fulfilling.
No, it's amazing, and the fact that I've said already, the anime could end here.
Oh yeah.
Without a third season. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's really good.
Like I literally don't even know what could happen in season 3.
Even the right now, this is news to me. I didn't know. I did question myself. I was like, is season 3 announced? And then you told me it's like season 3 is announced. It's like, wow, I really love it because there is an OVA. But before we get to the OVA,
well, again, talking about the music during the fights is like this hum. Like it's like this, like almost like a Latin kind of hum. It's like like a church Latin
but
hum.
on the background.
Yeah. It reminds me of the music from Madoka Magica almost.
Yes.
And it's so scary. Like what? So once they talk in Jutsu Serizawa, and he lets them go fight Elder Suzuki. Like the music when Mob's already at 100% and is getting his ass beat by. It starts showing percentages for Suzuki, and it's only 10%. You're just like, what the fuck? So, like, Mob is getting knocked through buildings, getting knocked through the air. It's like, like, and I'm just like, this is so scary. It's and like the background is like it's dusk. It's like sunset over like a pollution background, so it's like oranges and yellows,
fiery smoke.
and it's like fiery and like black plumes of smoke in the background. And you're just like, oh, this is the most scared I've ever been for Mob, even from season 1.
And again, right here, we're seeing Mob being defeated. But what's being defeated is the hope of Taka no Jutsu Suzuki.
Right. So, like, even with Mob at 100% getting his ass beat, he's just like, but like, you don't want to be a good guy, gets his ass beat again. But, like, being a good guy's so cool. Like, you should not do that. And he's
for like an episode 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's so sad and ugly because Mob is getting like swollen faces and black eyes, and like he's getting like you see blood kind of coming out of his like teeth, and like his nose is bleeding. And right when like he's at his ugliest, Reagan shows up, and that's when it really, really feels like Reagan versus Dark Reagan, because like Reagan wears like. Oh, God, what color is his suit? It's like a light gray or like a light blue, like a really ugly fucking cheap
like
suit.
Like the Obama suit.
Yeah, exactly. With a pink tie though, which is super fucking ugly. And then Elder
Like the
Suzuki.
Obama suit. Oh no, he had a cream.
It was tan.
It was tan.
It was tan.
Yeah.
And then Suzuki is wearing like a black with like a red tie. Again, like Dark Reagan.
Yes.
And then Reagan tries like bluffing his way into winning this fight because Mob's getting his fucking ass handed to him. And it's Reagan again bluffing. He's like, there are 3 ways right now I could beat you just off the top of my head, and you don't even realize them. Take me on as your right hand man, and we can rule the world together. And Suzuki, he's like basically God tier, so he's just like, I'll play around with this little human for a little bit and see what he has to say. But it's right about then that like Reagan tries getting in like a sucker punch against Suzuki. I think he tried doing that flying knee thing again that he did in episode 4.
So
but again, like Reagan's got like a god tier fucking psychic shield around him. And like just tries to like backhand him with a giant magical fucking psychic blast. And that's when Serizawa like grabs him in like an instant and like disintegrates like his umbrella, which was his comfort zone, which again is kind of cool because it's like alternate universe, older Mob protecting good guy Reagan from bad guy Reagan. But like Mob thinking for like half a second that Reagan might be dead makes him go extra like earlier when he thought his family was dead, and it's like question mark infinite fucking psychic ability. That shit basically happens again. He's just like, you fucking hurt master, and just like starts blasting him through the fucking
There's
sky.
no helping you.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
exactly.
And breaks him.
And that's when he takes like that Mogami like lesson to heart, and he's just like, dude, I can't talk no jutsu this guy, like
and uses its own like psychic power to destroy him. He makes him blow up his own body pretty much.
Yeah, it's so like it's fucked up because the Suzuki fight, like it feels like Naruto fights because it's like it's showing Suzuki's percentage. It's like 10%, 20%, 50%, 75%, 90%. But like the abilities they're using in the sky, it's like when Pain made like a giant gravity sphere around the Nine Tails. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And tried crushing Naruto like that, but then like the Nine Tails had to like claw its way out. That's essentially what's happening. Like Mob tries doing that around Suzuki. Suzuki blasts out. launches Mob through his own fucking giant concrete sphere that he had made, launches Mob into the ground, and then launches that big ass sphere into Mob's face, knocks them both underground. And that's when Suzuki hits 100%, and he's basically just a big ball of energy. Like, he starts having cracks on his face, and the energy's, like, bleeding out, and it's like, what does it remind me of? What did I see that had, like Jujutsu Kaisen almost, where, like, the energy's, like bleeding out of his mouth and, like, bleeding out of his face almost.
Jujutsu Kaisen-y.
Which, like, this came first, if anything. So, like, whatever. Good shit. And, like, he turns into a nuke. Like, Suzuki turns into a nuke.
Terminator.
Yeah, he's like, I've got 40 years full of, like, built-up energy. Not only am I the most powerful psychic, but I've been stealing everybody else's energy around me, storing my own energy, he's basically making a nuke underneath this, like, Japanese city. Yeah. And like, Mob's just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Because his wife wasn't fucking him anymore. Because he's a bad guy.
Yeah. And then we get a flashback scene to, like, Suzuki being mad because he doesn't want to be a good dad to his son, and his wife being like, well, I'm not putting out no more if you're going to be a bum-ass dad.
Yeah. And then he's just like, yeah, man.
All this psychic energy, I got to beat myself out. This is crazy.
But Kageyama, Mob comes in, makes a field around him to protect the blast, pretty much.
Like, Mob, like, meditates in front of him almost. And like, makes barriers around Mob, because that's how we saw with Shinizawa, I think it is. That, like, that's how they make the psychic barriers around themselves. Like, he can't really project a psychic barrier. And he's like, you think he's gonna die. And, like, what we're getting, like, cuts to is Reagan at the top level surface being like, where's Mob? Where's Mob? They've been underground for a while. What's going on? And so it's right about then that, like, Mob just kind of, like, resigns to his fate, kind of, like, meditates on it, and Suzuki, like, lets out this giant blast. But we didn't even mention it, but, like, 3 episodes before, so I don't even know. Like, Reagan had given Mob a packet of vegetable seeds.
Broccoli seeds.
We didn't know they were broccoli seeds at the time. Because, like, Reagan sometimes just takes any payment because he's doing, like, bum-ass weird jobs, like massages and stuff like that. So he takes, like, any payment, like houseplants, vegetable seeds, fresh fruit, eggs.
Drinks for the office.
Dumb
shit.
So he's just like, here's your payment, Mob, and just hands him, like, some seeds. But what we saw in season 1 is Mob has the power to imbue psychic energy inside of plants and can make them grow. So what happens is Mob focuses all his energy, which he thinks is in the barriers, to try to contain this blast from Suzuki. But what he does is he kind of, like, focuses the energy into a giant, like, world-giving psychic blast that grows the seeds inside of his jacket pocket to the point that he essentially contained the blast by making a 1,000-foot tall broccoli tree.
Deku tree.
Yeah, like it reminds me of the tree from Hunter x Hunter, where, like, Gon meets his dad, like that, like just the giant up to the clouds level broccoli tree. And, like, when Mob gets, like, found underground, and it's Reagan and, like, Dimple,
the former 7th Division guys,
and the other Claw guys, and they're just like, oh my god, we got him. And, like, it's Reagan that, like, carries Mob over his shoulders, like, I got him, guys, don't worry, like, let's walk out of here. And, like, Mob wakes up outside of like, he doesn't even know where he's at. He thinks he's in some kind of cave or something, and they walk out of it, and Mob's just like, where are we? And he's just like, you really? And Reagan's just like, you really don't know what happened? And that's where we finally get the pan out, and it's this giant broccoli in the middle of the city that destroyed everything. So then the final scene of the season is Reagan remembering that he gave Kageyama those seeds. And he's just like, hey, whatever happened to those? And then that's when Mob remembers that his breast jacket pocket had been blown open during the Suzuki fight, and he's just like, oh, fuck. And that's when they both look outside and see the giant broccoli, and they're just like, oh, shit, we did that. Oh, just gonna ignore that one. And that's, like, the end of the season. Like, it's really sweet. It's kind of sudden, but, like, we got a lot of fights. Like, a lot of character development. We got...
And it might have seemed a little bit sudden of how it finishes, but again, this anime had, like, 3 endings. You know?
Yeah.
It could have finished when they fought Mogami, or, you know, that's his name, right?
Yeah,
Mogami. It could have finished where
Setizawa.
Where Serizawa, it could have finished with Reagan arc was finished. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It's great.
Oh.
It is great.
They give Setizawa a job.
Yeah, that's the OVA, right?
It's also like the end of episode 13 is Mob's like, hey, do you need help today, Reagan? He's just like, no, like the new intern's coming in, can you help me train him? And it ends up being Setizawa, and they give him a haircut, and like they're introducing him into society. So like that's again like the metaphor, like Setizawa's gone from like evil Reagan to like good Reagan. And then the OVA is just like learning about like what it means to
be a sociable person.
Be a sociable. So, like, not only are they training Setizawa, they're showing him the ropes of like what it means to exercise, like ghosts, and be a psychic.
Grown up Mob at this point,
right? Essentially, but like he's still socially awkward. They give him a suit, but the plot of the OVA is that Reagan gets hired to exercise a pocket dimension in a train that goes to a bathhouse, to a spa location.
The hot springs location.
Yes.
Contacts Reagan because it's hurting their business.
Right.
Pretty much is like, hey, we have these instances where people don't show up.
Like Reagan just thinks this old lady's crazy.
They say they're gonna show up, but they never show up.
Yeah. And like it's funny because like all the psychics that he goes with, so like it's Ritsu, it's Mob, of course, and it's Setizawa. All the psychics get out of the pocket dimension almost instantly, but it's Reagan being the bullshit like fake ass psychic that like just gets trapped there for like hours, and he essentially goes crazy.
The Mugen Train.
Yeah, it's Mugen Train essentially. And like what they learn is like, oh, the god that they were praying to kind of like grew some bad spirits and grew like some false energy from like the idols that they're using, and that made the pocket dimension. So we do get some cool Sakuga animation of like Mob making the train float in the air, and then that's how they destroy the evil spirit. And it's short, it's sweet, it's funny, it's gimmicky, it's gaggy. That like again, it's just Reagan having to fake his way through being a psychic with like all these actual badass psychics.
He misses on the vacation, right? Because they have to leave like almost immediately after he gets out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He gets like 2 hours to the bath to himself because everyone else was actually like enjoying the feast and enjoying the bath and everything. So it's short, it's sweet, it's cool. I don't know. I feel like watching Mob Psycho 2, Mob Psycho 102 as like what's it called? In one go, or it's like as opposed to waiting week to week, or like this episode, the OVA probably came out like 6 months after the actual season 2 ended. It was kind of boring to me almost because like the ending to the actual season is so high energy and it's so high power and it's so like big stake that going back to like a short dumbass adventure kind of hurts a little bit.
It hurts, but I mean, you don't have to watch the OVA.
You don't have to watch the OVA. It doesn't matter.
I just watched it because Crunchyroll just puts you on the episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, is it finished?
The tone totally changed. What the fuck just happened?
Exactly. But goddamn nerds, it's been a really, really fun week watching Mob Psycho season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're gonna do a nerd down today.
I don't think so. We're recording on a Monday. People got shit to do tomorrow.
Drew's book club here. You got Ms. Haruyu Sumiya gets in another troublesome adventure.
This is the Rampage of Haruhi Suzumiya, which the last chapter picks up right after
the events of
the Endless 8, which like the anime and the movies kind of like skip the order of things. So like the skiing chapter is like the first chapter outside of the canon of the movies and the show, and then on our left over here,
spin-off.
Yeah, it's the first novel of the first spin-off, An Explosion on This Wonderful World, a Konosuba spin-off, which is Megumin's first book on her own, which will be adapted, all three...
Into a movie, right?
No, into a season.
Oh, into a season?
So starting in probably January will be An Explosion on This Wonderful World, which is the Konosuba spin-off, which will probably adapt all three of the first three volumes of Megumin's light novel series.
Okay, Megumin's a cool character. I like Megumin. But I also like Mob Psycho Season 2.
Yep.
You got anything else to say about Mob Psycho Season 2?
No. If you guys want us to if you guys have any recommendations or want us to watch anything, please hit us up. All of our social medias are at Between Nerds. Our email is betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. Please enter our September giveaway by leaving a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts and then emailing us, letting us know that review was you. Or be a subscriber on YouTube with your subscriptions made public and then comment on a video during the month of September. You can also be entered into the giveaway. So, I don't know. My name is Drew Philip Elias. This is Aldo Mendez. This is Jonathan Elias down underneath the table. This has been Between
Nerds.